ch1 The tree's first years. Death and reincarnation. I am Matt, an indie game developer. I died in a bus accident on my way home. You died. An old man says. He reminds me a little of Santa Claus. Oh, I did. It is a plain white space. Reminds me of the scene where Morgan Freeman plays a god, so I look at him and ask. Are you God, and is this the pearly gates? Yes, I am a god. My name is Mozart, and am the administrator of the soul transmission system. Mozart. What a name. A soul transmission. Wait. Reincarnation. Yes. Like all the isekai stories you've been reading. Oh, that's a good way to explain it. Thinking about all the other reincarnation stories, I could not help but feel a little excited. Would I get to build a harem? Oh, nice. So, what am I reincarnated as? What special powers do I get? Roll this. A big disc appears with weird characters on them. It is like a giant wheel of fortune, complete with colors. Oh. What is this? This is the race wheel. The result of your roll tells you what you get to be in your next life. You can be a mosquito, or a dragon, or maybe even a minor deity. Why not a human? That's how it normally is for isekai stories. You did not qualify. What do you mean? Based on the kind of life you led, you do not qualify to be reincarnated as a human. So. Oh, that sucks. But why? That's just how the rules are. Roll the wheel. You will be randomly allocated a race to reincarnate as. I could not comprehend what are the words on the wheel, so I look at Mozart. More accurately, I stare at him seriously. Is this a trick? Just roll. Or you can be a mosquito. That's permissible. Or a small gecko. Fuck that. I will roll the wheel then. I am just about to roll the wheel, then I stare at him again. I do recall having died in a bus accident, so there's quite a few other guys on the bus. Am I being singled out here? How are the other guys in the bus? Dead. They are going to be reincarnated as well. After you. Oh. So, do they need to roll the wheel as well, like me? Nope. They will be reincarnated as humans or elves. Hey, I am being singled out. That's quite unfair. What? How come? They have been chosen by the gods, and those who pray for heroes. Selected as champions of the world they are going into, so they get special powers and stuff, to fight a big bad guy. How about me? You are not a champion. You just happen to get on the same bus as the kids. Wait. I am collateral damage. That reminds me that there are quite a few teenagers on that bus. It's a route that passes by a mall, and it's late so they probably are on their way home after an outing. Why them? Why do they get to be champions? Because they are young, courageous, good-hearted and have a desire to do good. Not yet tainted by the evils of society. Wait. So you chose kids to bear the burdens of the world. That's the criteria the gods and the people look for, so that's what they get. Damn. I roll the wheel. And it stops at some random word that I did not understand. Wait. The word transforms now. A tree. I understood what it said. What? Hey, this is not going the way I thought it would. I am supposed to get superpowers and get reincarnated. Yeah, trees have souls too. Mozart seems rather nonchalant about it. Trees are not bad, actually. How about grass? Oh, grasses of a critical mass have souls. Before that they don't. For trees it is their age. Once the trees reach about a certain size they get a soul. There are world or species-specific exceptions of course. Anyway. Tree. Goodbye. Blackness. Darkness. Kind of like a TV screen gets turned off in the old CRT days. And then a menu. What is a reincarnation story without a menu, right? It shines against the dark backdrop and reminds me of old DOS. Interfaces. Oh, a clock. Year 1 month 0. Skills, hibernate, germinate, autopilot. Species, normal tree. Level, 1. Oh wait. Skills and levels. Yes, I get to do awesome shit. At first I thought it would take some loading time. Maybe this dark space is like a loading screen. But then a good 2 hours later I am still in this darkness. And I do not feel a damn thing. No sensation, no vision, no sound either. It's still dark. Am I supposed to do something? I try to open my eyes but it is still dark. I kept waiting. I don't seem to tire physically, but I felt mentally exhausted. An hour. A day. 2 days. 3 days. 4 days. 5 days. 6 days. A week. The clock just keeps ticking and nothing freaking happens. Darkness. Black. 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 Frustrated, I tried using my skills. Germinate. Not the right season. A pop-up appears. What is the season then? Once I had that thought, next to the clock a seasonal calendar appears. Another DOS-like menu, but with a slowly moving indicator that says winter. Curious, I click autopilot, and suddenly a pop-up appears. Autopilot engaged. You have activated hibernate. And I recall falling into a sleep-like state. And when I woke up, a good 4 months passed on the clock. But still darkness. At least the season menu says spring. Autopilot has activated germinate. Nothing happens. It is still darkness to me. And with autopilot active, time passes quickly. At first I thought I misunderstood the clock, but it soon became quite obvious that 1 second is actually 1 hour. Which is really convenient because there is absolutely nothing to do. And so time passes. A year passes. Another year passes. And another year. 3 or 4. In the 4th year, a string of notification appears, instantly kicking me out of autopilot. Emberly has died. You received a fragment. Samantha Chandran has died. You received a fragment. Peter Varoufakis has died. You received a fragment. Fiona Park has died. You received a fragment. Reed Constance has died. You received a fragment. Shaw Russell has died. You received a fragment. Mai has died. You received a fragment. Lee Kang-ho has died. You received a fragment. Shane Andrew Fillon has died. You received a fragment. Pink Fong has died. You received a fragment. The Demon King Asmode has been defeated and sealed back to the demonic realm. Oh wow. At first, I do not recognize these names at all. But when the Demon King's notification popped up, that is when I realized that the kids won. And nothing. Again. Darkness. I thought something would happen. Perhaps it would prompt me that our mission is complete and we would move on to the next reincarnation. But nothing. A year passed. Another year. And another year. Year 8. A notification appeared. Similar to the others previously, it just says Seda Maru died. Year 9. Mark Antoinette died. Year 11. Samantha Charleston died. Year 14. Kim Possibrew died. Year 15. A Demon King appeared. Demon King Astaroth has spawned. Frankly, I think I should panic, but somehow being trapped in this darkness I can do absolutely nothing. Year 17. A string of notifications again. Azur's Fox, Sarah Cole, Pamela Sace, Lucy Braveheart, Winston Chow, Donald Stump all died. Cumulatively, a total of 20 fragments now. It seems to suggest that they have been defeated by the Demon King. Year 20. An interesting message appeared. The gods has summoned 20 new heroes from beyond to answer to the threat of Demon King Astaroth. Oh god. More kids. Year 25. Indeed, 5 years after they were summoned, Demon King Astaroth is defeated. But in the process, another 11 kids died, and now I have all these 31 fragments with their names sitting in my menu. I get the feeling that this circle never quite ends. Demon Kings appear, and the gods summon heroes from beyond to answer them. In the next 10 years, another 5 died, and their death seems to be spread out, suggesting either they somehow fought and killed each other, or someone or something killed them. Year 45. Another Demon King appeared. Demon King Danlin. Somewhat predictably, on the 47th year, another 4 names died, and that brings my total to 40 fragments. Year 47. The gods summoned another 15 heroes to this world. Year 50. Demon King Danlin, and of the 15, 10 of them died. And I have a total of 50 fragments. Thankfully it seems my menu has changed such that the fragments now have their own dedicated menu. It seems like if the world had another Demon King attack, the gods will always summon heroes to answer them. Year 52. I am jolted out of the darkness by a spirit. A spirit that I can actually see. It is like he is a light in a sea of darkness. Hello. A young boy, no older than 10. Oh my god, did you just talk? He shouts and then runs in circles for a while. Wait, I think everyone else will think I am crazy if I say a tree can talk. Yes, of course. Frankly, I can only see his spirit, shining against the dark background. Do you have a name, oh tree spirit? At that point I wonder whether he sees me as a tree or as a person. My name is Matt, what is yours? Indra. I am 10 this year, and I am a druid. Hello Indra. He seems quite willing to talk. I see. How come you can see me? I think that is because I have a unique skill. It is called Soul Communion. Sounds really special. It does not do much actually. Just allows me to see and talk to ghosts and stuff. Oh my, I think I better go back. Looking at the time, it is quite late at night. Well, drop by if you feel like it. It is nice to talk to someone. Okay. Indra nods and walks off. Indra would later come by every week, and we would talk. Can I ask for a favor? He asks one day, after a few months talking. Would you mind being my magical companion? How does that work? I get to summon you to aid me in battle. I would love to, but I think I do not do much. I am not sure if I have any combat powers. It's okay, nobody I know have a tree familiar. I think it should be quite cool. Fine then. Indra starts mumbling some things, and that is when I have a pop-up. Indra has requests to enter into a familiar contract. Do you accept? A menu to click yes or no appears, and I mentally choose yes. Indra smiles. Yay. I have a tree familiar. This is so awesome. I bet nobody else has a nature aspect familiar. Later that week he returns, and sits next to me. My teachers took a look at my tree familiar form, and so I might be going away for a long time. It seems the Druid Council wants to see more of my tree familiar abilities, as it is fairly rare in the world. Oh. Good luck then. Is it that special? Yes. It is quite different from other forms as it has mostly defensive and healing skills. I didn't even realize he used my skills. Seems like once I agree to the familiar contract, I don't really need to do anything. At which point I wonder whether I could see what my tree familiar skills look like. N/O/vel/b//in.c//ohm. Pop. A menu appears. Tree familiar. Level 1. Skills, Iron Bark Skin, Healing Fruit, Minor Regeneration. Seems my familiar contract's skills are quite different from my own, or maybe the familiar form has its own skill tree. It is my first time going so far away from home. Are you scared? Yes. But I think it is also an adventure. My mom tells me not to worry though. I will be going with the town's lead druid to the capital. Sounds like fun. Spend more time with your parents before you go, okay? Never know when you will see them again. Since the day I died, the people I miss the most are my parents, and then followed by my friends. You're right, I should spend more time with my family. I should go. Indra nods, and gives me a small bow. Bye. Good luck with your trip. Stay safe. Unfortunately, that is the last time I ever saw Indra. About 3 years later, year 55, I got a notification. Indra Synahalia has died. All the experience accumulated by Indra when using your familiar form. You have gained 13 levels. A fragment of Indra's unique skill has been bequeathed to you in accordance with the familiar contract. You have obtained unique skill, Lesser Spirit Vision. You have also received the skill Limited Telepathic Communication. For the first time in forever, I can see. It is not the kind of sight that humans normally have, but I can now see spirits of people if they are really nearby, and the pitch black background is now replaced with a black background with faint outlines. So that's how I come to the realization that I am in some kind of park. Or a garden. And people. They are all a distance away, but every now and then they would pass me by. At a distance, they are all a blob, kind of like a wisp, but as they walk nearer, the details improve. It's kind of like short-sightedness, but for spirits. I attempt to communicate, but so far all just run away. It felt like they all thought they are being disturbed by ghosts. Disappointed at how the people around refused to communicate, I went back and examined my levels. A tree with the skills, as a result of those levels, I gained skills that upgrade the effects of my familiars, boosting my telepathic powers, gaining some other skills and some healing skills. I should have used my skills first before attempting to communicate, but hey, it's hard to hide my excitement when I suddenly received the ability to see and talk. But thanks to the higher levels in skills, my visual range improved. Sadly, very few people actually walk near enough for me to communicate with them. It seems I'm placed quite deep in the park or garden, so everyone seems to be quite a distance away. Even with some additional skills, they pretty much need to be next to me to hear anything. So, nothing happens for quite some time again. Year 56. A fight breaks out. I could vaguely see lots of spirits in the distance fighting some soulless creatures. They appear as a rough moving shadow. The battle seems intense, as many of the spirits get extinguished, and the battle spills over into the park as well. One of the human fighters stands next to me, and excited, I took the chance to communicate. Maybe he needs help, and I can get him to agree to a familiar contract. Ugh, damned demons at this distance. I could hear what he says, and I could tell from my inspect skill that he is wounded. Need some help? Ah. He looks around, one hand still clutching his wounds. He then looks at the tree. Talking tree. You need help? Ah. Yes. Healing fruit. As a result of my skills, I now have the skill to create a small fruit that gives some healing effect. Familiar contract. The battle is still ongoing, so I figure that they do not have much time. Oh. He accepts, and munches down the fruit. His wound heals somewhat, and he nods. Thanks. I should go and help the rest now. I did not see that guy again after that, and 10 days later I got a notification. Samara Falk has died. You gained 1 level 15. Oh, that's it, eh? The soulless monsters appear every now and then since that day, and the people repeatedly try to fight them off. Some days I could see those monsters everywhere, even around me. Thankfully they did not indiscriminately destroy everything, so they did not attack me. I wonder what happens if they attacked me. Then, perhaps I would die. Then a few days later the humans or whatever would come back and chase them away. This lasted for a good 2 months, as the battles ebb and flow, and then eventually the humans won. A lull. And then a person approaches me. Is this the tree? Yes. Ah. It is. I am Starik, Semira's squad leader, and he asks me on his death to thank you. Thanks to the power of your familiar he became quite the hero. I see. I don't have much, but he also asks me to bury his trusty sword next to you. Starik digs a hole and then places the sword inside. Would you like a familiar? I ask. It is okay. I already have a familiar spirit of my own. Ah, damn. After he leaves, a few days later, a spirit appears next to me. It's that Samara guy. Why are you here? Oh. I am just a part of Samara that is embedded in the sword. The real me died and passed on. It's complicated, but the sword has been by my side since my youth for the past 30 years. So a fragment of me is in it. Oh. So how long will you be here? Maybe a few more months. I will eventually fade away with time. With Samara next to me, we end up talking. A lot. Samara is a lot more knowledgeable about the world compared to Indra, so he had more to share. That is how I learn a bit more about the world I am in. This world has many gods and religions, and magic is commonplace. Demons and monsters appear frequently, as a result of the world's proximity to the demonic realm. And due to stellar movements and astronomical forces, the barrier that protects the world from the demons occasionally weakens, and that results in stronger demons entering the world. That sometimes leads to the entrance of demon kings. Gods and kings of the world respond to this by summoning heroes from another world. The heroes rise to defeat the demons, and usually they do succeed, at great cost. The world today has 5 remaining heroes. Arsene Emir, Valerian, Rona, Ashley Cole, and David Bex, and it seems after the defeat of Demon King Dandelion 5 years ago, they have since fallen out with each other, and are now fighting to be the most powerful ruler in the world. Demons and monsters still appear frequently. Even if the Demon King has fallen, demons and monsters are still a huge threat to the world. And demon kings are not the sole threat, though they are extremely powerful and seek to destroy the world and remake it in their homeworld, so in a way they are the most dangerous of them. Those 6 months pass a little easier with Samara to share his knowledge, but good times do not last very long, and so Samara fades away after those 6 months, disappearing back into his sword. Year 57, Month 1. On the first day of the year, a young elf kneels before me. O tree, I, Salada Stapu of the Elvish tribe, humbly request for the blessing of the tree spirit. How did this random elf know of my existence? And his name is Salad. How did you know about me? Oh, he seems a little embarrassed, but then kneels. You have been listed in the register of benign spirits by the local council, following the reports of Captain Starik to the town council. I am in a register of the town council. Seriously. I feel like a botanic garden exhibit. Fine. Familiar contract. Thinking about how Semira's spirit accompanied me for 6 months, I add a condition. You must leave an item with strong personal connection to yourself with me, and on your death, your weapon should be buried near me. He nods, and buries a small wooden chain next to my roots. This is a small chain I made when I was a kid. Is this fine? Yes. I frankly do not know what is the criteria to recreate Semira's case, but I say yes. And then, I offer him the familiar contract. Maybe he'll gain a skill that lets me tell. Someday. He kneels and he leaves, feeling happy. I sigh, and I go back into my autopilot mode. Year 57, month 8. Another elf comes to find me. Another boy by the name Croatian to fillings. Same deal with Salada. I offer a familiar contract and he buries a small metal ring. Happy, he then walks away. I wonder how long do I have to live as a tree? Would I live longer than them? A pop-up appears. Trees are eternal if they do not get killed. No shit. Year 57, month 11. I gain a level 16 but nobody died. Strange. Year 57, month 12. Somebody visits. He does not respond to me but he seems to be trimming some of my branches. But since I do not feel any damage I let him be. He also then collects the trimmed branches, and leaves. Year 58, month 1. I gain one level 17 and I acquire a skill called self-awareness. Unlike what it says, for a tree, it means being able to look at myself. That is the first time I can see all my branches and my roots. I am actually pretty big, about the size of a small house. Being able to see myself, I also realize that guy trimming my branches are crushing them to make some kind of tea. Maybe that is why I am gaining levels. Year 58, month 2. Another elf named Cornicorla comes and asks to be my familiar. Turns out elves have a thing for tree spirits, which is quite rare, and on discovery of a tree spirit in the town of Moton, quite a few migrate to live near me. Anyway, I agree to let Cornicorla have a familiar, so I give her the usual terms, but I also made a special request, which is I want her to come back every 6 months and tell me what happens. Year 58, month 6. I gained another level. Nothing in particular happened. Level 18. Year 58, month 7. A human kneels. He asks for blessing to heal his child of his disease. I am not sure whether I can, but I can try. Bring him to me. A small baby, probably 8 months. He looks really sick. I create a magical healing fruit with all the nutrients I can gather. The man feeds it to his child. The child still is sick, and the man leaves with the child. 3 days later he comes back with the child. The child's spirit looks better. Turns out due to the war against the demons, there are no more healers in this small town. Most of them died some time ago, and those that survive now serve in the royal army, on the king's army. Child is actually just having a very bad fever. I gain a level. Level 19. The man returns a few days later again with poop. Cow poop, and he mixes it into the dirt. Fertilizer. I feel nothing, and I thank my lucky stars I cannot smell cow poop. Year 58, month 12. Winter. During this time I cannot create fruits. A man kneels and begs for help for his wife, but I cannot do it no matter how much I want to. I tell him to hang in there and return when spring comes around. Year 59, month 1. The man returns and curses me. I guess she did not make it, so I do not respond. And after the exchange, I gain a level and a skill. Level 20. Minor winter resistance. Yeah, that man is going to hate me. Year 59, month 2. A young lady drops by, and begs me to protect her husband. Her husband will be going to war soon to defend the country from a demonic rift that appeared somewhere. Her voice sounds like she wants to cry, but I am a tree, so in my mind I can only empathize, and explain that I am not a god. I do not have the power to provide blessings. I am just a tree living here. Is there really nothing you can do? Does he want a familiar? Oh. I'll ask him. The next day a young man comes, along with the young lady. Is this the tree you've been visiting? He glances up, and shrugs. Doesn't look very impressive. Please Andy, a familiar might protect you. He shakes his head. Do you have no confidence in me? It's not that. But if something can give you a bit more protection, will you not take it? And he sighs, and walks really near to me. This is so weird, talking to a tree, but hey, if you hear me, can I get a familiar? Just so that my wife feels safer. I wonder whether having a familiar would offer any protection, as they might overestimate their own abilities and end up taking more risk, but I offer a familiar contract anyway. And he seems a bit surprised. Oh wow. There really is a spirit here. The wife smiles. Please come back to me, Andy. Yes, yes. He accepts, and the couple leaves. Year 59, month 3. The man with the sick wife returns. With something in his hand. He scolds and shouts for a while, and starts hacking at me. I don't feel any pain however, and it is then I realize that my trunk is really hard. After some time, he gives up and leaves. It is about that time I wonder how did that other guy manage to trim my branches. Year 59 month 4. Porna returns, and when she touches me I actually get the experience accumulated so far on the familiar. I gain 3 levels. I am now level 23. She tells me that there is some heavy fighting going on at the moment, and that the town of Moton may not last for very long, as the town is located near the border with the wastelands. Year 59 month 9. A bad month, really. The month started with 3 deaths. The 3 elves all died within days of each other. Porna has died. Salada Stapu has died. Croisanta Fillings has died. I gained 12 levels. I am now level 35, and my species transformed from normal tree to spiritual tree. At this point my skills are still mostly things like healing and defense, but I also gained a skill that is a sort of insurance, called Tree Rebirth. Year 59 month 10. Death comes to the town of Moton. I see monsters attacking the town every day, and as much as I want to help, nobody got near enough for me to grant a familiar contract. I see some fighting in the distance, but it looks like the defenders are losing. On the last day of the month, it seems the war is getting really bad. Arsene Emir has died. You gain a fragment. Oh. One of the reincarnators has fallen. Year 59 month 11. Demon King Ball has entered the world. 9 years after the fall of Demon King Dantlin, another Demon King enters the battlefield. Is it me, or it seems to be getting more frequent? Moton at this point is deserted. There's absolutely not a single soul that I can see from my spirit vision. I hope it's more of a case of people fleeing, rather than killed, but the past month's battle makes that seem rather unlikely. Year 60 month 2. My surrounding is absolutely barren. Monsters now wander everywhere, and a few try to cut me down. But thankfully my bark is really strong, and these monsters give up once they realize it's pointless. Year 60 month 9. The town of Moton is no more. The destruction of the past few days has been massive. And I think I see the Demon King. Oh shit. He's huge. A massive presence. He looks like he is the height of a 3-story building. Even at a distance I could see his burning presence, and I could see a soul. But unlike human souls which normally appear faint white in color, the Demon King's presence is a bright red one, and is surrounded by a reddish fire. The Demon King Ball. A red name hovers right above his soul. Oh damn, it really is him. He turns, notices me, and he walks towards me. Tree. He roars, and the earth shakes. Oh shit. I felt myself shiver and tingle, and I do not even know how I can feel the tingle when I got no sense other than vision. He raises his arm, and slashes. Okay, ch. I yelp in pain. For someone who is a tree, I am amazed and frightened that I can feel pain. It felt like I got hit by a car, or a truck. The top has been chopped off. For a brief moment, I thought I see his burning soul smile, and then he walks off. I am in immense pain, feeling like I am being pulled in multiple directions, but a short while later, I am just thankful that I live. I live. I am just a tree stump now, but trees do not die so easily. He disappears into the distance, and once he is out of sight, I fall into some kind of sleep. Year 65 month 2. Oh shit, I've been sleeping for the past 4 years. I am still mostly a stump, but now a few small shoots emerge from the sides. There's a notification menu that thankfully records all the string of messages I missed. The 4 remaining reincarnators has been killed, but amazingly, they managed to slay the Demon King Ball as well. Also, I gain a level 36 and an achievement. Demon King Survivor. CH2. Moving House. Year 65 month 8. The shoots are not growing very well. In fact, they survive for no longer than a week, and then die off. And because the shoots as a result of a lack of nutrients or sunlight, frankly I'm not sure what my body needs, my ability to stay conscious is really poor. Still, a random elven druid visits. Oh tree, are you still there? He touches the stump, carefully inspecting the damage from the Demon King's claws. Yes I am. I reply, but he doesn't seem to understand me. Oh, the damage must have really weakened you. He touches the stump, and seems to be using some kind of druid magic. I feel invigorated, but only temporarily. It seems that energy is quickly drained away. The Demon King's presence has tainted these grounds, that is why you are unable to recover. To survive when the fire still burns and the grounds corrupted shows you must be a strong tree. I do not sense the Demon King's presence, but maybe my ability to see is impaired as well. As I still could not really keep myself awake for very long, I didn't dwell on it. I will help you, and that will include moving you out of these tainted lands. He says, and leaves. I wonder how he plans to move me. Year 65 month 9. A few men arrive, all of them appear quite old. Oh, and that druid from last month. This is the tree I mentioned. It is amazing that it survives an attack by a demon king. Indeed. I believe the druid council would like to examine it further. Another man speaks. He seems to be holding some kind of wooden staff, and he kneels over me. These fires are interesting. Should we move it back to the druid council garden? I rather not. I rather not have the others discover this. Druid home already has another tree spirit. I would rather we keep this for ourselves. True. Would be troublesome if the other group finds it. Where do you propose? I'm thinking either Solas's mansion, or the Adventurer Guild's garden, or Temple of Gaia's garden. The Adventurers Guild. I think that won't be a place they will expect. I prefer the Temple of Gaia. Easier to explain why we are moving trees, especially with the reconstruction happening there. The caretaker would want to have a look at this as well. They vote, and eventually decide on the Temple of Gaia. I feel a little headache from following their conversation. The 5 of them spread out in a circle, surrounding me. And they start mumbling something, and then I feel the entire ground shake and crack. Then, the entirety of the earth around me floats and one of the guys take out some kind of sack. And then it is just all black for me. Maybe they somehow suck me into the sack or some kind of druid tree moving magic, I'm not sure. Turns out once my roots no longer touch any land, I just lose consciousness. Year 65 month 10. How is it reacting to the transplanting? Better than expected. Color seems to be returning somewhat and the taint of the Demon King is fading. But the fires remain. Did I say I am amazed it can resist the Demon King's fire and attack and also its corruption? Yes, you did. But I think most druids would be. That's what makes it worth studying. The guys are talking, and I could still hear them faintly. But I find my consciousness fade every now and then, so I could not catch everything. They come over every other day to check on me, but some days I just cannot keep myself awake, though I do seem to be gradually recovering. Year 66 month 2. I feel much better now and I can actually keep myself awake. Those guys still come over regularly and now I notice they have been casting some kind of spell on me. I think it sounds like some kind of appraisal on top of that. They seem to be poking me with weird contraptions, and they seem very interested on my stump, mumbling about fires of hell and stuff like that. Still, I'm too sleepy to think too much, and every time I do I get a headache. Year 66 month 3. Is this the tree? An old man comes to visit. Seriously, I'm really popular with old men. Is it a thing in fantasy worlds for old men to constantly poke at interesting things? Yes. He touches the stump, and seems to be rather deep in thought. From Moton, you say. Yes. It survived a Demon King's claws. The scars on the stump still char a little with the demon's fires. A fascinating sight. To see the Demon King's fires still burn on the stump. Wait, the Demon King's fire is still burning my stump. I took a good hard look at myself, and that's when suddenly I feel a surge of pain. It seems autopilot cut off a portion of my senses, so I did not notice that I am still being burnt. Status, the fire of Baal. Woa. And OW. OW. It feels like touching a hot kettle, for a long time. Pain. Pain. Autopilot. Autopilot is suppressing the sensations from the burning surface. These fires we should learn more about them. The old man says, seemingly touching the fire with a small stick. The younger man scratches his chin. The Demon King will return someday. We can better defeat them if we know what we face. What do you have in mind, caretaker? Can we defeat demons with their own power? The caretaker muses, twirling the stick in the fire. The question stuns the younger man. It must be possible, for demon kings must demand the obedience of their minions, so they must have a power to control or punish their minions. So the fires of a demon must be able to damage any other demon, or else they would have no way to keep order. Caretaker, to channel the demon's powers, that may be seen as witchcraft and perhaps blasphemy. Best not to repeat it. The younger man shakes his head and /o/bell/b//in.c//om. Perhaps you are right. The caretaker sighs. Good reminder, acolyte. To stay the path of Gaia, is my duty, caretaker. Year 66 Month 9. The past months is filled with people all investigating the endlessly burning fire on my stump. Usually it's the same few old men with different contraptions or spells. The investigators and researchers would try things like dousing me on holy water, or trying to extract my stump surface. Still, the conclusion they seem to draw is that I am strong enough not to die from it, and not let it burn the rest of me, but not strong enough to extinguish the fire. The fire of Baal also interfere with all my attempts to telepathically communicate. I suspect they seem to hear something, but they could not make out any details. The stump is actually constantly regenerating a sheet of fire-resistant layer, and that layer gets replaced by another layer once the fires completely consume the upper layer. So it's kind of like a Zerg rush and a wall of turrets. Maybe that analogy doesn't quite work. Year 67 Month 1. It happened in the middle of the night. A group of masked men sneaks into the temple grounds. They dress like typical cults, in dark hoodies and masks, and carry weird religious-like items. This is it. The tree that carries the fires of Baal. 1 point. So the rumors are true. The Temple of Gaia is really experimenting with demon fire. To find demon fire, the master will be pleased. He takes out a kind of vase. I think it is a vase, because it looks like a vase from the outline. The cultists seem to mumble some kind of weird chant as the one holding the vase leans close to me. He opens the cork on top of the vase, and it seems to suck up all the fires into it. It has a cork. Does it make it a whiskey bottle instead? I wish I could see properly. Harvest the fires and let's go. Yes. About 10 minutes later he is done, and strangely, at that point someone shouts. Stop. What are you doing? Oh come on, why do guards always spot them only when they are done? Let's split. The cultists shout. And they all flee in different directions, and then into the distance. The fire of Baal removed. Negative effects on some of your passive recovery, skills, spells and abilities removed. Oh thank you cultists, and I hope I do not meet a demon king again. The next day. Who is behind this? The fires are gone. Did you hear me? Who is behind this? Anyone able to collect the fires of Baal must be affiliated to the demons. Perhaps the demon cults. No shit, genius. Ugh. No one spotted them. The guards did. They are dead now. We found a few of them killed in the alleys. Ugh. With the fires gone, I am not very interesting anymore. Nobody even comes over to visit, and quiet returns. I'm not hot anymore. Year 67 Month 3. A small boy sits on me. I offer a familiar contract, and he rejects. Damn. Year 67 Month 5. Without the fires of Baal, I am able to now regrow a proper trunk in the past 5 months, right next to my stump. With this, I feel a bit more energetic than before. Year 67 Month 8. This is the tree that has a seat. With the trunk growing rapidly, I am now like a small tree, with a stump stuck at the side. In a way I look like a chair. Or maybe a stump plus stick combo. It seems quite a few people do come over and sit on me, but most seems to ignore all my familiar contracts. I wonder why, and then a pop-up explains believers of Gaia cannot accept familiars of nature, and are naturally resistant to telepathy. That explains why everyone rejects me. An old man approaches me one day, on the last few days of the month. TreeTree. He looks a little crazy. His soul looks really messed up. I am dying. And I am looking for a place to be buried. Can I bury myself here? I have no idea how to respond to such a question. Seriously. Should I say, yes, please bury yourself here, or should I say, no, don't bury yourself here? He touches my growing trunk. Yes. I will bury myself here. Okay. You made the decision, so I'm not saying a thing. Hey, maybe you'll end up a spirit next to me like Samara. Year 67 Month 9. That same death wish old man sits on me, and then falls asleep. He did not wake up, and I could see his soul fading. He is discovered later in the evening by the temple guys. Oh dear. This crazy old man really died here. A young temple initiate complains. He'd been telling the caretaker he wants to be buried here. Call the caretaker. I am guessing the caretaker is some kind of position in the Temple of Gaia, but no one answers me. The caretaker from before returns and kneels over the old man's corpse. Old friend, I will bury you here as you asked. The two initiates complain. But caretaker, he is not a believer. What gives him the right to be buried in the temple grounds? He was a believer. His 3 sons fought valiantly against The demons, a part of the warriors of Gaia. But their death made him curse us, curse the temple, for bringing doom to his family, so he stopped believing. In his dying days I believe he has come around. Ah, if you say so, caretaker. They dig a hole next to my roots a day later, and buried him next to me. Strangely enough, it is not in a coffin. Perhaps they do not have such culture here. Come to think of it, I do not recall ever seeing coffins. I feel relieved that I won't get chopped up to be made into coffins. I wonder whether he will end up being a spirit. Year 67 month 10. Hello tree spirit. Oh. Hello old man. The old man really did become a spirit, even though it did take him a few weeks. I wonder why it takes him so long to transform from dead man to spirit. Is there like some kind of incubation period? Have you been here for long? No, I just appeared today. I think your roots are in my body now, so now you can see me. My roots. Oh. Did you know I am here? No, I just like the look of the tree and the location. It seems like a nice place to be buried. Oh. What a thing to think about. That sort of thought never crossed my mind. You are a tree. Death must be a strange thing for you. Never mind. Why are you here and why are you not moving on? I want to. But I have a lot of regrets. So much, anger and hatred. Frustration for the temple of Gaia. Anger at the gods and demons. Anger at how weak I was to let my children die. Must be a foreign concept for trees with no family. I understand it quite well, but I choose not to interject. Life and death. To lose your children to monsters, to flee when your children are fighting. Do you know how much I regret it? No, why did you flee? He wants to vent, so I let him. To protect my younger children. I ran with them. I ran with their wives, their kids, my grandchildren. Then you did your part, no. No, I felt I should have been the one fighting, while they fled. An old man like me, choosing to run instead of fighting. That torment, it burns me. Is that called running? Sounds pretty honorable to me, and if you did stay and fight, would it have made a difference? Maybe. I am much older, but when the demons attacked many years ago I still could hold a sword very well. I could have. I am much higher level and I have better skills. It is wrong for them to entrust the protection of their wives to me. The dying old man should have been the one fighting and holding off the demons while they make their way out. They must have believed you can protect their wives and kids better than them. They wanted to stay back. I didn't sign up for spirit counseling. Is this guy going to vent at me for the next few months? Because if he is, I am going to hibernate. So what? I should have knocked some sense into them. Ugh. I have to cut this guy off. You are dead. Let it go and move on. No. I cannot. I must not. I spent the last few years thinking back to that day when we parted in Albast. I should have stayed and they should have left. 13 years, every night I think about it. If I made a different choice. If you are dead. I am a spirit. There must be something I can still do. Something I can still change. That is why I am still here and not in the underworld. What would that be? I don't know. The old man, his name is Jua, and he spends a lot of time being upset over the death of his 3 sons. I occasionally humor him, but I mostly ignore him and go into hibernation. Year 67 month 11. Anti-Skillen has died. You gained 9 levels. You are now level 45. Oh. I totally forgot about that guy. The guy whose wife came and begged for protection. He lived really long. Have you heard? Lieutenant Commander Skillen of the South Army died in battle. Against the demons. Some initiates chatter in the garden, and with the levels my vision and range of hearing improves. Wow, that boy became quite high-ranking. The demon must be really strong. Indeed, and he is back at his peak with his power returning. This seems to suggest the demons gather strength out there, and they will only get more ferocious. You seem to be interested in the conversation. Jua's spirit sits next to me. Yeah, I am. Have you heard of Andy Skillen? Sounds familiar. Oh wait, I remember now. He got a bit famous a few years ago. He led the defense of Parsela Pass against a large demon attack. What's that? A battle where the demons attacked one of the many passes that connects the human lands to the rift, and are successfully repelled, despite being outnumbered. It is human battle history, not surprised you never heard of it. Oh. He is known for his defensive skills, but his abilities somehow weakened a few years ago for some unknown reason, It returned recently, and he contributed quite significantly to a few battles with his healing and defensive skills. His frontline combat support has saved many lives and won many battles. Don't armies have mages and healers? What's so special about him? Seems strange that a familiar can make such a difference. Mainly because he is in the front line, providing active support and healing. Healers and mages can provide support, but they do so from the back and there is always a delay. Mages and healers can be in front too, of course, but their lack of close combat abilities make them really vulnerable. Skillin is like a fighter with some mage and healer's abilities, so that makes him very versatile. Oh, you seem to know how to fight. I'm actually quite impressed by this Jua's analysis. Every generation has to fight multiple demon kings and lords throughout their lives. Combat ability is a necessity. True, I seem to forget that multiple demon kings have appeared since I came into this world. What a cruel, harsh world. A mage can cast shield that provides a half reduction in damage as a passive enchantment, but someone like Skillin can create a wood barrier to counter specific attacks that reduces the damage by much higher amount. Makes a lot of sense. So why are you interested in Andy Skillin again? We used to have a familiar contract. I mean, I gave him a familiar a long time ago before he became famous. Jua's spirit paces around me, seems to be thinking. It seems that statement triggered some kind of eureka moment. So you and him have a familiar contract, are you the source of his defensive powers? He looks at me with some hopeful, curious eyes. He never looked at me like that before, so it freaks me out a little. I am not sure. But if it is some wood-based ability, I believe that is most likely from my familiar. I see. Jua walks in circles around my trunk, and it makes me a little dizzy. He stops. Can you give your familiar contracts to more people? That's a strange question. Where are you going with this? Jua gives me a kind of stare. It's weird for a spirit to stare. What? He stares some more. Seriously, what? You have some power to reduce casualties in battle. Imagine if the world had hundreds of warriors with incredible defensive powers, we would see less death, and we would have higher leveled warriors all around because they all survive longer. What in? Am I wrong? No, Jua does have a point, so I mentally wonder how many familiar contracts can I give? You can presently grant 12 familiar contracts. There are no familiar contracts utilized at the moment. What are your concerns, Tree Spirit? Or do you not care about human lives? Jua pushes. Grant more familiar contracts, let those with your powers protect more people. Why should I? Okay, I guess giving familiar contracts makes sense because I gain experience from it, but frankly I do not know why I am hesitating, so I end up looking at Jua. Feeling a little headache at having to make a decision, I decide to take a nap. Year 68 month 1. Your naps are really long. Time moves differently for trees like me. I respond instinctively, but then I wonder why I did. Maybe reincarnation means an entirely new set of experiences in this world. So, familiars. Jua kept pushing and I ignore him. I still wanted to think, and he mumbles something about me and my absurd time frames. A druid drops by. You are doing well. The new part of my tree has reaches a reasonable size now, right next to the stump. The surface of the stump is still charred black, but it is healing. I reach out telepathically. The druid startles, and he looks around. Is anybody there? No one. Only me, the tree. He stares at me. You talk. Yes. Do you want a familiar contract? I am blunt like that. Oh no, okay, I am a little too blunt. Are you a tree spirit? Yes. The druid walks in circles. So, what kind of tree spirit are you? What kind of question is that? The druid looks puzzled. I mean, like, are you looking for help with breeding or spreading your seeds, or the type that wants special nutrients or fertilizer, or like you want help with pests? Tree spirits are usually not chatty. And they only give familiars to those who has done a great deal of service for them, like after helping them through a difficult winter or battle a horrible disease. Oh. So do you need help with something? That's why you are offering familiars. The druid walks in circles a few more times. I heard you survived a demon king's attack. Maybe you need help with your wound, is that it? It seems he is caught in some kind of monologue with his own mind, and presuming that I need help. Why is this guy asking and presuming I need help? He kneels, hovering over the stump. Your wounds are fully healed though. Ah, tree spirits, always being so vague and need us druids to guess what you need. Wait. Wait. I know, I will give you some time and I will come back next month, okay? Trees need time to think, right? The druid bows and walks off. Wait. Oh come on, I am literally shouting and he just walks away. Are druids normally so dense? I look at Jua, a little frustrated. Jua shrugs. Mages tend to be stuck in their own world. Magic is everything and it consumes them. But for them to ignore me like that. CH3 another move. Year 68 month 2. The temple is abuzz with activity, but the mood is tense. Injuries and wounds, by the cartloads, as people keep getting carried into the temple. Me, in the garden, I can somehow picture the image of blood everywhere and the stench of it. Or maybe it is just the newer initiates saying how strong the smell is. How many more do we have? A lot more. Caretaker. The caretaker is like the lead priest of the Gaia temple, and he handles most of the administrative matters. Demons. The caretaker perch over one injured man, using some kind of healing. Yes, caretaker. Beast-type demons, about 100, from the rift. An initiate explains, while assisting the others in carrying a few of the wounded soldiers into the temple grounds. Another initiate nearby helps to support a few that can walk. Some initiates start putting up tents in the garden and classifying the wounded by the severity of the injuries. Those needing less immediate attention are relegated to the garden. And so quite a lot of the wounded and their carers are within my range. Nov LB //JNN. I did not lose a limb. One injured soldier vents at the guy next to him. I had a scare when the beast lunged for my arm. It is thanks to the other guys. First battle. He nods. I just froze when that beast roared like that. I did not expect that. Their roar has a fear effect. You should not have stood so far away. You are lucky to get just a few cuts. Yay. Just a gash, probably will heal and be a manly scar later on. Maybe you can get girls with it. Another soldier tries to lighten the mood. Girls do not like scars. One of them said. Says who? I met girls who like scars. They say it looks really tough and they feel safe when they see it. No way. You guys are disgusting. A female soldier comments. She turns to another side and face another sleeping female soldier. Hey, we did not die facing those beastaments. Cut me some slack. I am just happy to live another day. Yeah. Did you kill any of those beasts? One soldier turns to ask another. There are about 30 of them in the courtyard, resting in makeshift tents. Most of them here are not very serious, light scratches or some gashes, and won't die if so quickly. But they do need some medical attention to prevent disease. No, their hides are so thick. If I had one of those magic swords, maybe I would have gotten a kill or two. Your skills, did they not work? It did, but it is not enough. When do you think the healers will come for us? One of the soldiers that can walk asks. He sits next to another soldier. Once the heavily injured ones are dealt with. An initiate interrupts, handing out water and some light food. Yeah. We understand. The soldier nods. How is in there? Bad. Quite a few will not live through the night. The soldiers glance at each other. They sigh, but most are secretly relieved they got out of it mostly fine. The initiate looks at the tree. I think that tree produces fruits every now and then. It is edible, so feel free to take it, because we are short, do not have enough proper food. Ah. Based on my current pattern, I produce 2 or 3 small peach-like fruits per week, but if I want to I can trigger a small bloom to produce more overnight. I felt like helping these guys, and hopefully lead to some familiar contracts. The next day, I have about 10 small fruits, all containing mild healing effect. The soldiers did not hesitate to take and consume them. Tastes kind of bland. Feels like I am eating some kind of disgusting forest herb. If you don't like it, you can starve your ass instead. One grateful soldier smiles. I felt a bit slighted at the comments, and at that point, I realize I did not select any skills that enhance the taste of my fruits. Such human aspects should be considered after all. I feel a bit better though. I think the fruit has some mild healing. Appraise one soldier holds up his half-eaten fruit, looking at it inquisitively. There are skills like appraisal too. And I wonder what is the difference with my inspection skills. A loud horn blares. It is so loud that my trunk vibrates, and my leaves rustle. Oh. That is not good. A few of the soldiers look at each other. Another attack. Looks like it. Some of the soldiers stand and walks. We should go. An initiate runs out. No, you guys must rest. Going there injured will be bad. I am fully healed. A few of the men with light injuries have recovered as a result of the fruits. The initiate looks at them. Let me get the caretaker to verify before we let you out. I can't sign you out without his approval. The soldier nods, yes. Normal tracking procedure. Please hurry and get the caretaker. The army needs our help, if it is anything like the previous attack. The initiate runs in, calling the caretaker. The soldiers look at the rest of the recovering soldiers. You guys better eat more of that fruit then. Need you people back on field once you are fine. Yeah. One of the soldiers shrug. Stay safe, and don't get killed. We want. At that point, one of the soldiers walked close to me. Hey, thanks for the fruit. Since he is just next to me, I pounce on the opportunity and immediately offer a familiar contract. The pop-up probably startled the soldier, as he stares for a while. Oh. Okay. He accepts, and then he looks at the other soldiers. Hey, go and say thanks. You might get something. Some of them laugh and walk away, but two others walk over and give me a pat on the trunk. Similarly, I offer both of them a familiar contract, and they accept. Hey, did the tree just? One soldier look at the other. Yes. The other nods. What happened? Those who are still injured seem a bit curious, because they seem a little startled by the weird expressions on the three soldiers' faces. I think this tree, it gave three of us familiar contracts. Really? What does it do? Iron bark skin. One of the soldiers' skin glisten in a brownish shade. Some defensive skills and healing skills. It is a tree familiar. Hey, this is useful. The soldier right next to me taps my trunk lightly. Thanks. Yeah. Don't let it get your head though. One of the injured soldiers say. Let me check, everyone please come over. The caretaker arrives and starts looking at the soldiers that say that they have recovered. A while later, he nods. It seems you guys are fine. Free to go. Thanks, caretaker. The recovered soldiers go off, and the remaining soldiers, about 20 of them, look at each other. After a while, they start talking again. You think this tree can give us a familiar contract? One of the injured soldier approaches. I still can give a few more, if you guys are not believers of Gaia. I reply to him telepathically. Ah. The injured soldier loses his balance and falls. It talked. It did. I did not hear a thing. It talked into my head. What did it say? I think it said it can give a few more if we are not followers of Gaia. But we are in a temple of Gaia. Is this tree not a Gaia spirit? I'll go call the caretaker again. The caretaker approaches me, and then looks at the injured soldier. You said this tree can give you familiar contracts if we do not believe in Gaia. Oh yes. I attempt to reply on behalf but somehow is repulsed by some kind of telepathic barrier. The caretaker looks at me, and then touches my trunk. Detect evil and detect spirit. His eyes widen. It really is a spirit. He looks at me, and then he calls an initiate to bring some materials over. He then seems to chew on some kind of leaf. After a short while of chewing, he then looks at me. Ethereal vision. A low tree spirit. The caretaker looks at me, and then he notices Jua next to me. And you too, old friend. Hey. Jua smiles. I. Who are you, and what are you? I am a tree. But you have a spirit. That is rare. That contradicts the statement I received from Mozart. I thought he said trees of a certain size has spirits. Yes. I do have a spirit. I do not know whether I am rare. You told the soldiers you can't give them familiars if they are believers of Gaia. Yes. Your believers will reject a nature familiar. The caretaker thinks for a while, and he says. Now I do recall one of blessings of our God is we can only use familiars of God, but I must confirm that later. He then looks at the soldiers. Any of you not believers? Am not. A soldier walks over. Not yet, at least. Can you give him a familiar contract? The caretaker asks me. Will help me assess what I should do. I offer him a familiar contract. The caretaker bites a different kind of leaf. Accept the contract, and open your menu. Eat this leaf. The soldier nods, accepts the familiar contract and munches on a kind of leaf. Seriously, do they have weird drug-like leaves in this world? Wait, they must have, it's a fantasy world. Then his menu appears for all to see. It is far more complicated than the menu I have. I wonder how I could see it, but I just do. Tree familiar level 1. Element, earth and wood. Rank, nature aspect. Alignment, neutral. Active skills, iron bark skin, healing fruit, minor regeneration, wood shield. Passive, damage resistance, improved healing, earth magic and wood magic enhancement. There are more skills than I used to remember. So is the tree evil, caretaker? Should we revoke the contract? No, probably not. But it is just not aligned to Gaia. Trees have alignment as well. The caretaker shrugs. No idea. Still, you soldiers can accept the familiar if you want to. I think it will be helpful for the battle ahead. As for me, I need to go talk to some druids. Year 68 month 3. Move it somewhere else. The caretaker sighs. Yes, caretaker. This is really necessary. Yes. I brought this up to the temple counselors, and the conclusion is that a temple cannot accept a spirit that does not accept Gaia in our compound. It could be perceived negatively by the common folk if a tree tells people not to believe in Gaia to receive a familiar. It is a tree. I would have chopped it down if it's just a tree. But it has been helpful and I do not see a need to destroy it. So moving it to more neutral location would be better. The druid nods. Understood. Inside his head he scrambles to think where to embow the tree. Still, did not take long for them to decide. I see a few druids come over, surround me, and once again they move me. Caretaker says you're a spirit, so we got to move you. The druid says apologetically. We will be gentle, and you will not come to any harm. Before I could respond, he casts some kind of magic, and the earth shakes. And once again, I lose consciousness. Seriously, being moved around is annoying. Ch4 Frika, Elf Village. Year 68 month 4. Frika. A small village with less than 50 souls, out of town. Elves? All of them. It seems that the presence of a spirit tree does not go well with a lot of people in the city, so the druids decide to move me out of the city. It seems a spirit that is not aligned to the religions of the world are seen as heretical to some of the believers, and so I think I am quite lucky that there are druids who look after tree spirits. The elves are happy to have a tree spirit in their small village, and I could tell from their conversations. The leader of the village requests I be put in the center of the village, apparently for the protection a tree spirit can give. The elves are quite chatty, and from that, I learn that the leader of the village is a middle-aged man, Ricola. A tree spirit is good fortune to our small village. Somehow, he gives me a very pleasant feeling, so I immediately offer him a familiar contract the moment I could. In honor, O tree spirit. If anyone else wants a tree familiar, please let me know. I telepathically speak. Certainly. Of the village's warriors, I give out all my remaining familiar slots to 8 more of the men and women. It helps them in protecting the village from the frequent monster attacks. Year 68 month 5. Ricola's wife, Lawfen, is pregnant. They come over and ask for my blessing. I reply I can't give blessings, but if they fall sick they can come to me for some healing fruits. Year 68 month 6. The elven kids decorate me for a festival to the earth. The elves in this world are a little animistic, they believe in spirits of nature, and their god is the nameless great spirit of nature. Trees are spirit of nature, so this festival is also dedicated to you. An older female elf, Kashern, leads the ceremony. She seemed to play the role of the master of ceremonies, and also a living record of the elvish traditions. They eat fruits, vegetables, and some hunted meat, and pray to the earth for good harvest, a good hunt, and protection from demons, monsters and humans. They too serve some kind of fermented sap, which sends some of the men in some kind of high and dance throughout the night. Year 68 month 8. The tax collectors visit the elves. Ricola pays them with what little gold or silver coins they have. Some of the elves in the village sell their excess foods in the city for coin, just for the purpose of paying taxes. After the tax collectors leave, Ricola sits next to me and sigh. These tax collectors are blood-sucking leeches. We get no protection from the army, yet we are forced to pay taxes, lest we suffer the wrath of the kingdom's tax enforcement force. Ah! Do you have demons here? I suddenly wonder, how do elves deal with demons? Oh tree spirit, we do face demons. But demons are usually drawn to places with a lot of souls for them to kill. Sparsely populated places like our village is usually spared of their wrath. It is only when the demon king descends, when the elves throughout the continent gather to fight it. I see. One of the elf kids run over and knock on my trunk. Hey tree. Do you think you can give me a familiar? Ricola pats him on the head. Brizlock, please don't disturb the tree spirit. He has given all his familiars to the adults. Brizlock pouts and walks away. How's Loffen doing? I asks, but actually I could see from my spirit vision that she is well. Spirit vision is good at telling the overall health of a person. She is doing well. It's been a few years since the last birth in our village. Everyone looks forward to it, especially Brizlock and Wallen. They cannot wait for someone younger than them to appear. Year 68 month 10. Harvest season before winter. Harvest is better than last year, and Ricola says it is because of me. I can't tell because I do not see a skill that boosts harvest, but apparently as village head, he has a skill that lets him know what effects are affecting the area. Maybe it is race passive for spiritual trees or something, that things grow better around it. Year 68 month 11. Being at the center of the village, the Elven villagers frequently come over to chat under the shade. I am growing quickly, and am quite close to my size before I got chopped by the Demon King. The ladies now start to do some of their leisure activity under the shade. This means things like sorting or cutting through their harvest, or occasionally, processing hunted animals. Some of the elderly also use the shade to teach their kids. It seems elves believe that the tree spirit improves learning, but I suspect that might be a placebo. Year 68 month 12. Winters are mild. I can produce some healing fruits, but their effectiveness is rather poor. The men fight some monsters during this time. It seems winter comes with its own set of monsters. Nobody gets seriously hurt, so the mood is fine. It seems one of the guys, Jura, is the village's best fighter. He's really good with a sword, and says he is going to be level 40 soon. Loffen and the ladies would collect whatever winter fruits I produce to make some kind of tea. Year 69 month 2. Another festival to mark to end of winter. The elves are preparing some kind of fruit cocktail. The elves come over to vent their frustrations, mainly about how things are done by other elves. Elves are people after all, and at times they come into conflict with each other over rather petty things. I generally just listen. I'm not going to play counselor. Year 69 month 3. Loffen gives birth safely. It's a baby girl, and is named Lausanne. The elves throw a small party, and apparently tradition has it that elvish babies are supposed to be given the juice of a spirit tree, if there is one. I make her a healing fruit with all the healing abilities I can gather. Year 69 month 4. One of the elves sat next to me and tells me dire news. He just returned from the city from their weekly market visit, and the demon attacks are increasing. Rumor is that the Demon King will descend very soon, and based on past trend, that does seem likely. More worryingly, for some human cults have also emerged. Some of them profess to be able to control demons and have taken control of some distant villages, and some are religious puritanical zealots who cannot accept other races. Still, the focus seems to be on the demons. A time for human unity, they say, as the Demon King will rise once again. To some extent, I wonder why do these humans bother when the gods summon heroes to defeat the Demon King? It is not humans of this world who defeat them. Will the gods summon heroes to defeat the Demon King? The elf sigh, probably. Why do you sigh? Every time heroes descend into this world, we trade the methodical destruction of the Demon King for the reckless destruction of the otherworldly heroes. Elves don't look at them as heroes too and /o/bel/b/in.c//om. The elves are in two minds about it. A faction believes the gods' heroes, some of which appear as elves, are God's blessings to the elves. Another faction believes that the gods do not want to summon the heroes, but because the destruction wrought by the Demon King is too great, they had to. So heroes are a desperate response from the gods. What do you believe? The heroes. They are a blessing. Has the Demon King fallen to a hero from this world before? The elf stares at me. Legends has it that the Demon Kings of the past all defeated by the summoned heroes. Oh. I suppose summoned heroes must have some special thing about them that allows them to slay Demon Kings. Year 69 month 6. A small group of soldiers arrive, the villagers are tense. Ricola talks to the captain, and it seems the city is trying to gather the numbers to fight in the Demon Pass. No one goes with the captain. Captain is not happy, but they leave after a while, having many other places to go. Year 69 month 9. Baby Lausanne starts mumbling. She's really cute, I can't help but remember my own nephew back on Earth. Ah, home. I wonder how things are back there. The elves live hard lives, but generally are happy, and many of the ladies enjoy spending their time playing with the baby. Year 69 month 10. I gain 2 level when the men return from their hunt. Level 47. The men tell me they had to fight a giant beast, and thanks to my familiar skills, they succeed. I also gained 2 rather strange skills one morning. Nourish and Secret Hideout. The Secret Hideout creates a small room right beneath my roots, probably can fit 2 adults. I wonder whether it is because the kids, Brizlock and Wallen, frequently play hide and seek with my roots and trunk. Maybe they should play a bit more if that leads to skills. Harvest this year is better than last year, and it seems when I am around, the soil replenishes its nutrients a little bit faster. Year 69, month 11. Lausanne is feverish. I grow a small fruit of healing, for the Laufen and Ricola to feed the juice within. Ricola has an argument with the tax collectors over higher taxes this year, but eventually pays it. Year 70, month 1. The men report seeing more human armies on the move. And the frequent movement is disturbing animal movement. They say it's rare for armies to move about when winter has not cleared, so the demons' attack must be really intense. I gain a level 48. I have my first attack skill. Root. Strike. CH5 in the distance, a demon king. Year 70, month 2. There is great unrest in the human cities, and the elves too. They look up into the sky every night, and Casshern, the old lady, explains that it is an ominous sign. 6 stars aligned in a hexagonal shape is the mark of the warp. The warp signifies a weakening, a breach in the rift that separates us and the demon world. In other words, the demon king is returning. If I could sigh, I would, but all I could is sway my branches. Or shake. It probably looks like a shake. Worry not, the gods will look after us. Casshern nods, sipping a hot cup of tea. It's still cold this time of the year, and I get a new menu. It's a temperature bar, and it reminds me of weather widgets on my Android phone. How do you know for sure? N/O/bell/b/in.c//ohm. They always have, tree spirit. Legends have it that we have been invaded by demon kings since time immemorial, and every time our world triumphed. As a financial advisor once said, past performance is not indicative of future returns, but I let Casshern continue. The stars. Despite the warp, in the distance there is hope. I wonder how the stars look in this world. Year 70, month 3. Baby Lausanne tries to crawl around and over my roots, and I get nervous every time she looks like she is going to have a fall. This feeling really reminds me of my babysitting days. I wonder how my nephew is, maybe he has grandkids by now. After all 70 years has passed. On a more serious note, the men fought a few lesser demons while hunting, and the presence of demons so near their home worries them, so they made some changes to their hunting practices. The summit of the elves will not be long from now. Summit of the elves. When the demon king is about to descend, the elven nation summon warriors from all over to take up arms, and defend the elvish lands from the demon. We are not in the elven nation, are we? I vaguely remember not being in the elven nation, but since being relocated to Frika, I have no idea whether that statement is still valid. We are not, tree spirit. But some of the men still feel a desire to answer the calling, to test whether they can be the shield of the elves. Jura, perhaps. Maybe. But while we are happy with our sons and daughters who answer the call, the village has to figure out its defenses without their best fighters. Ah. That is indeed a problem. When demons roam about, villages are without their best defense. Yes, yes. She sips her tea, and her wrinkly arms touch my protruding roots. I can vaguely feel her touch, but my sense of touch is hardly accurate. How old are you, Casshern? I suddenly realized I do not know her age, but then again, age is just a number. In fact, I ask that question, then realize how disconnected that question is with the previous topic. Ah. I'm old, tree spirit, I do not remember the exact year anymore. But elves live up to 500 years. Humans, if they have magic in them, can live similarly long. So magic extends one's lives. Our conversations tend to drift. I would ask about things that I spot along the way, and Casshern generally lets me go off tangent. Perhaps she just thinks it is how spirits think and talk. Or maybe my mind is jumbled up by being a tree. Indeed. It is a blessing and a curse. Live long enough to see so many demon kings come and go, and they are as natural to this world as a typhoon, or a massive earthquake. Long enough to see tree spirits die. Have you ever met other tree spirits? Casshern looks up to the night sky again, looking at stars I cannot see. Once. But when Demon King Astaroth descends on my town, then, the tree spirit died. Ah. Tree spirits play an important role in a proper elven society. An elven village or town without a tree spirit within is nothing more than a temporary gathering of elves. Can you explain more? The elves, we believe that the tree spirit is the guide after death. A birth under the tree spirit's blessing is stronger than one without, and on our death we believe that our souls would be guided by the tree spirit, and through it, return back to our nameless mother. Our warriors are stronger, our druids wiser, our walls sturdier. Our inbuilt potential is best expressed when a tree spirit is present to channel and guide us. If I could gulp, I would. In fact, I feel like going for a nap then. I do not think I can play such an important role that elves demand of me. Our other tree spirits. The one I met is imposing. Its presence dominates the town, and its protection allows the town to resist years of human attacks. A powerful tree spirit, like a strong fortress, its roots seep into the walls, healing it from damage. Still it fell. Yes. But not to any threat. It fell to a powerful demon lord of Astaroth. A monstrous being shaped like a corrupted demonic dragon. It burned the tree and the entire town. Oh. I survived Demon King Ball. Does that make me super impressive? Or maybe I got lucky. I think I got lucky because the Demon King did not press its attack and left with one strike. It just figured cutting me off and leaving that fire on me is sufficient to kill me. So, any high-level demon should actually be able to kill me fairly easily. After all, I am immobile, so dodging is out of the question. It is either I have a powerful offense, a powerful defense, or at best, both. Or if I am lucky, I won't have to fight demons. Year 70 month 4. Humans come around again. This time a smaller group of 4, led by one captain. The king decrees that each village is to dispatch 5 able-bodied men to join the king's royal demon-slaying army. We cannot spare 5 men. 5 men means we will lose our ability to defend ourselves or hunt for food. This is not open for negotiation, villager. The king commands, and its people answer. The captain is stern, his face looks like he has heard this 1,000 times. We cannot give 5 men. Then I shall mark your village as disobeying the king's orders. How about 2? No negotiations, villager. The captain turns to leave. Let me discuss with my people. The captain nods. An hour. That is all you have. The villagers huddle and words fly. They speak and argue, but eventually Ricola meets the captain again. We will send 5 men. Ricola answers. But not today. Not today, villager. Send your 5 men to report at Hammerhold Fort in 2 months. The captain nods, pass them a letter, and the small group leaves on horses. Bring that letter along, without it, your village is deemed not to have provided your men. After the captain leaves, Ricola and the men kneel before me. It seems the decision bothers them greatly, and now they seek my counsel. A wise tree spirit, do you some words for us? Oh damn. I am no wise great tree spirit. I do not know what to do at this time. Oh wait, so what should I do? I don't know, Ricola. When do the men need to leave? Hammerhold Fort is a month away, so a month from today. I took a nap. And I had a dream. A nightmare, actually. I rarely get that in this world. A demon. A large demon. Lots of them. In my dreams I could see them in color, in detail, and they remind me of monsters out of Diablo. Huge. I see dead people all around them. Their path, one of destruction. Dead people. Dead bodies, all scattered all over the floor, burning forests, and a tree. A tree on fire, with corpses pinned on its branches. A large monstrous demon walks through the corpses. Its steps crush every corpse in its way into pulp. I feel afraid. I shiver. Is it coming for me? Its head turns, its red eyes look at me. And a notification pop out. Demon King Andras awakes. Fire. Death. Destruction. 1,001 screams. It's as if the world screamed as one, and it's deafening. I feel my ears hurt, even though a tree should not have ears. And then I snap out of it. I snap out of my dream and I see Cassern touching my trunk, looking worried. You were shaking, tree spirit, after you went to the dream world the past few days. What ill news you bring? Demon King is here. Oh, Cassern's old wrinkly hands shake and she shouts a call. The villagers all react in shock, and they rush out of their houses and surround me. Ricola looks at me and leans in. Is there something you wish to tell us, tree spirit? Demon King is here. Ricola sat. He then asks the children to go back home, and only the adults remain. He then faces the rest of the villagers, explaining what I told him. The villagers look at each other. Jura is the first to speak. Then we should join the king's army, crush the demon king before it gets too strong. Another man shakes his head. Only heroes can kill the demon king. The best the army can do is clear a path, and take out the rest of the demon king's champions. Ah yes. But all the heroes died in their battle against Demon King Ball. Until the gods summon new heroes to this world, there is no way of defeating the Demon King. So this army is doomed. Indeed. So we should not join the army. Would you rather face demons, or what's left of a destroyed army? If we stay at our village, maybe a hero might emerge before we are attacked. The villagers stand and start to argue, but a decision comes out of it soon enough. Thank you for your guidance, Tree Spirit. We stay. I didn't really say anything, but hey, it seems that is what they wanted anyway. We're 70 month 5. The men are hard at work, creating fortifications around the village. Hunting will soon be difficult, as the demons will spawn more regularly. The Demon King's presence is always accompanied by a surge in demons entering the world. It is just the way Demon Kings are, with their corrupting powers. Many will die. Indeed. Every Demon King has led to death. Countless deaths. Why? Because it is so. Why is there no Angel King? I sometimes wonder why the enemies are always Demon Kings. That would be heroes. Catherine looks at me, thinking I probably asked a stupid question. We're 70 month 6. An Indra group of adventurers arrives at the village. The group of 4 fighters are all bleeding heavily, and 2 lost their arm to what appears to be a huge monster bite. Ricola immediately brings them to me. Ugh, their spirit is weak. What is normally a white spirit fades on and off, like a flickering light bulb. Healing fruit, I create 4 fruits. Ricola and another elf assists to feed them. Their wounds stabilize somewhat, but the lost arm cannot be undone. What did this? Ricola sits next to one of the adventurers, helping him eat the fruit. Demons. It looks like peace is going away very, very soon. Ch6 of fiery destruction. We're 70 month 6, continued. The adventurers. They speak of a new breed of demons, large, ferocious, and with teeth able to chew out any creature. Giant, walking on 2 feet, massive, magically reinforced jaws, and armored with thick skin. Some have horns along their backs. Ah, demons. Are all demon kings the same? I ask Catherine, to which she shakes her head. The adventurers are stable, physically. The 2 of them who lost their arms are emotionally unstable, lamenting about their lost future as adventurers, and they would be nothing more than beggars now. It is so bad, that Ricola separates the 2 one-armed adventurers in a room, so that their negativity don't spread. Have we met any demons described by these adventurers? I think the description is pretty standard. Fangs, claws, scales, horns. We're 70 month 7. The adventurers eventually come around and they leave. The king's demon-slaying army starts their march for one of the heavily contested passes for the rift. No worry about the Demon King so far. Strange, maybe they did not get the message. Here's 70 month 8 n/o/bell/b/jn.c//ohm. A raid. A demon raid. It starts in the morning, a small trickle, one of the elves spot a group. 30 demons, led by an elder demon. This will not end well. The elves quickly assemble for battle, whilst the young, men and women without combat skills quickly retreat to the fortified village hall. The demons, these group is different from the earlier ones described by the adventurers. These are winged, mild fire wielders, using axes forged of dirty metals. The 2 forces clash, and the elves throw everything they have at them. Every skill, all their familiar powers they have unlocked. And the demons fall. But so does the elves. The demons are tough, and they have 3 times the toughness. Even with the advantages provided by the fortifications, familiar blessings and other tactical, for every 4 demons killed, one of the elves still get a fatal blow. The dying elves, they still try their best, everything they have. And I try to help, but the battle is fought mostly outside of my very limited range. I see their fading spirit, and I try to reach out to it. Hey, don't die on me. They walk closer, their spirits turning deathly pale, the wound on their body too deep, too serious. The tide turns, the elves now outnumber the demons, and with numbers, the deaths stop. And the elves win. 4 of us too many. Ricola kneels of their dying bodies. All of them placed next to me, right next to my roots. I try to help, with every single healing ability in my disposal. I sigh, if I could. Maybe my branches droop a little. The wounds too serious, the damage too great, the bleeding too much. Casshern leans and holds onto one of the dying fighters. Death comes to us all, but for some earlier than others. Death may come, but your spirits will never die. O tree spirit, take good care of them. I gulp if I could. The four soon pass on. I see their spirit fade to darkness, and a brief flicker of light at the end, like the last hurrah of a match. And they fade, their spirits drift into the ground below. The mood turned grim since then. The men focus on repairs and sharpening their weapons. The women focus on their children. The loss of 4 men is too much for some, and the only way they could cope is to hold it in. But at night, when the house is quiet, some of the women and some of the men come to talk to me. How do I move on? I have known him all my life. Things just cannot be the same, can they? I have no answer. I am just a tree spirit, but I have no words who can calm the hearts of those who lost someone. I nod, and I try employ some empathy, but I know it is no cure for the hole in one's hearts. Level up. Level 50. You gain the following skills: Calming Voice and Haunted Tree. Your 70 month 10. More demon attacks. But mostly small groups, so no biggie. Your 70 month 11. Death comes. But not from demons. Village of Frika. A roar breaks the morning quiet. You have failed to send what your king required of you. 5 soldiers, and you failed. Ricola and the villagers, those who wake up early, quickly wake everyone up. Elves. The king should have known that elven villages have no loyalty to the king. Only humans know what it means to live under his majesty's protection. A small platoon of the army. About 400, comprising a mix of knights, archers and other fighters. They carry insignias, and wear standard issue armor. The army surrounds Frika. There is no retreat, with their large numbers. Ricola sighs, they must have taken out their sentry. Ricola offers to talk, to explain, the demon king has come. Without heroes, the army is doomed. Hush, villager. No, let me correct that, traitor. Laughter from the human army. They are confident, as they should be. They outnumber the fighting force almost 20 times. I will not listen to your excuses. Those who dare defy the king will be punished. The army has not tried to make its move yet, so the women and children quickly hide. Lausanne, Brislock, Wallen, Loffen and 2 other younger ladies squeeze into the secret hideout beneath my roots. The rest, even the older women, grab whatever weapons they could. Are you ready, elvish scum? We are going to kill all of you now. Fire. Fire arrows. The humans, they do not plan to fight us. The burning arrows fly, and explode mid-air in a fireball. The fire torches the roofs, the houses, the furniture. More arrows, and the elves try to deflect the arrows. We must break through. That is our only chance. Jura yells. The rest of the elves follow, creating a wedge, and all of them head for it. Their only chance of survival, rather than being trapped in the inferno created by all the burning arrows and burning homes. They could dodge the arrows, but as the fire spreads, it is either make a break for it or be cooked alive. The elves and the human army fight, and it seems some manage to escape. But I also see many die. Unlike demons, humans have levels and skills, with actual military training. This is a force that has done these sort of rebel suppression many times. As for me, I could only watch in horror as the humans remain firmly outside my root strike range. The fire spreads, and I think a part of me is on fire. But such mild fires cannot kill me, even if they do burn my branches and leaves. More fire arrows, and the surrounding is just ablaze. I check in on the 3 children and 2 women now squeezed into my secret hideout. Shaken but still safe. It seems my roots and bark protects them. Good. The fighting intensifies, and I see Ricola. He staggers towards me, bleeding. His spirit is weak, and an arrow pierces him. Oh dear tree spirit. I will soon leave this world. I try to heal him, but with multiple arrows through his body it is not working. And it seems the fact that my branches are burning also weakens the power of my healing. Please. Take care of my children and my wife. Protect them from the demons and these monsters too. Yes, yes. Don't die. I respond telepathically. From the blaze an armored knight emerges, he holds up a sword. Why won't you die? He stabs. And stabs. And stabs again. The blood splatters, all over my trunk. I feel anger. What is this stupid human doing fighting each other when there is a demon king out there? Root strike. A root surges from beneath, impaling the knight, and he dies. There is still fighting in the distance, as some of the Elvens run for their lives, as Frika burns in a swirl of fire. Hot. But not enough to kill me. Somewhere along the way, I gained fire resistance 80%, and normal fires cannot kill me. One of the elves fight, but she takes a few hits. And deciding she cannot make it, she retreats, and she soon stands next to me. Casshern. I mentally yell. Oh, tree spirit. She is wounded, 2 daggers still in her chest. I thought of choosing my place of death. Let me die beside you, spirit. She coughs. I think blood came out. This is madness. Man against elves. When there is a demon king around. 2 human knights with spears close in on Casshern. They attempt to lunge at her. Root strike. I strike at both of the knights, killing them. But not before one of them used a skill and drive a spear through Casshern. We will meet again, tree spirits. Elves who die with their tree guardians never truly die. And she collapses, a spear through her chest. The fire rages on, and the battles soon come to a conclusion. The humans win, overwhelmingly. One by one the elven fighters die, and once the battle is over, the humans drag the corpses of the elves towards me. Hang them on this tree. A commander of human army says. I count, about 25 bodies. Maybe 15 or so made it, and managed to flee. Then burn it. How about those that got away, Commander? Should we give chase? Let them spread the word, disobey the king, and face dire consequences. The commander surveys the corpses, and walks well within range of my root strike. I have 3 root strikes left for the day. And in my anger, I attack. 2 root strikes right at the commander. The roots shoot out of the ground, and though he sees it, he is not fast enough to dodge. He activates some kind of shield and barrier, but it is not much use. My roots struggle a little, but eventually crack the barrier. It pierces him right through the heart, and the other through his pelvis. A druid. Then out, there must be a druid that is still hiding. The vice commander shouts, and he runs. Lucky he did not suspect the tree. Arg, he goes out of my range. 1 root strike remaining. I see a bloody soldier. We should totally do this more often. You know, killing elves. Always hated these long-eared dudes. Rather than talk shit, why don't you find where is the druid? Chill the fuck out, dude. The druid probably used the last of his magic to take out the commander. If he is still around, he is defenseless now. These people seem really apathetic to the loss of their commander. Or maybe death is just a common thing for them. True. Still some of them manage to run. The village is now totally no more, replaced with burnt ash. This tree is pretty sturdy, even though it's all black. We should just impale the elves on the tree. Teach these long ears the power of humans. That's a little too much, man. You killed elves too. I am merely enjoying the process. Seriously, elves on a stick, like a barbecue. I agree with the other human, and in my anger I strike him with my last root strike for suggesting such an abhorrent idea. In a flash, it kills him, as it went right through his armor and his heart. Fuck. The druid is still around. The soldiers look around, and they spread out. An hour later they all return. What should we do with the bodies? Pile them up with the tree and burn them. Don't want them turning into undead or zombies, or food for the demons. Fire. The humans stack and pile the elves around me, and then start a fire. I feel helpless. So very helpless. The fire did not hurt me much, even though I look like I am charred. And more importantly, the 6 in my secret hideout is still safe and alive. Fire. The humans left after 3 hours, deciding their raid is over. The elven corpses, the heat and fire cook and roast them, and slowly they turn into ash. The fire rages. The elves in the hideout shivers. They are afraid, I can sense it. Their body weak, so I use nourish, restoring their body strength. So many dead. Is this my fault? Why did I not ask them to send the 5 men to the army anyway? No, I may have a part, but they decided it. Maybe I have a role. My lack of knowledge of the tensions between humans and elves, and weakness and inability to protect those who give me a place in their lives. So many, dead. The fire burns into the night. Though intense, my trunk and branches are fine, the surface blackened. This pain pales in comparison to what I felt before. Death. The death that I see stirs something, a desire, a fury, a need. Must change. I have wasted my last 70 years in this world, taking things as they come. As a result, everywhere I go, I am a bystander, with too little power to intervene meaningfully. Must be a whole lot stronger. Else these deaths, of those around me will never end. Ricola Searwind and 6 others died. You gain a total of 13 levels. You are now level 63. You have unlocked the next species change, upgraded from spiritual tree to magical tree. Secret hideout upgraded. Camouflage and illusions upgraded. Spirit collection upgraded. Essence harvesting obtained. CH7 recovery. Year 70 month 11. A day after the human raid. The bodies are now a mix of ash and charred flesh. Brika destroyed, the inferno engulfed all the wooden houses and halls. The 6 crawl out of the secret hideout after the fire burns out. Tears. Loffen is crying. So is Lozanne, Brizlock, Wallen. The 2 younger ladies also squeezed into my secret hideout. Emil and Bellerev, fondly referred to as Belle, also cry. Death. The air stinks of it. The charred smell of burnt bodies. The girls seem to gag whenever they get too close to a burnt body, and holding back their urge to vomit. What are we to do now? Loffen looks at Emil and Belle, who are in their teens. Their eyes are wet, their faces dirty from all the ash and soot. Everyone is covered in ash and soot. Well, everything is coated in a layer of ash and soot. Keep Lozanne in the hideout. It is too dirty and dusty. Loffen sighs, her hand still holding on to what looks to be a burnt memento, Ricola's personal belongings. Emil carries her, and once the hideout door opens, she gasps. Loffen, the hideout looks different. Loffen shakes her head. Not now. Belle goes over and she too gasps. The hideout changed. It is not like that when we came out. Brizlock and Wallen jumps and walks over. Yeah, it changed. A proper room. Still too small for all of them, but more comfortable than the space earlier that is about the size of a cellar. I just gained a skill upgrade for secret hideout. I think all of you had to come out for it to reset and change into the new one. A magical space, a creation of the tree spirit's ability. 10 feet wide, long and tall, it is a lot more comfortable than the 5 feet by 5 feet space earlier. In the center of the ceiling is a glowing fruit that provides a faint light. With more space, at least the elves have a place to stay for the night. The elves nod and say a prayer of some kind. Lozanne is now 1.5 years old, and can walk by herself. Brizlock and Wallen babysit her, while the 3 older elves go around, surveying what's not lost. The 3 ladies are trying to recover whatever usable items they can find. Perhaps some manage to survive the blaze, somehow protected by other rubble above them. But most important is food. We are gonna starve. Emil asks. All our food is gone. Loffen sighs. She is the oldest, so in a way she is in charge. She kneels before my black trunk. Oh tree spirit, are you there? Can you make some fruits? Yes. I respond, my body recovering from the damage. I hear Emil's concerns, and you may eat my fruits. I will make some. From a few of the black branches, a burst of life. Fruits. May not be satisfying or tasty, but fruits to deal with their hunger. Later on, the elves recover one of the hidden chests buried beneath the houses, a place where elves store their most personal items. Multiple chests survived as the fire tend to range above group, so only the floor is burnt. In it, some clothes, some weapons, and some personal items. All go into the hideout. Don't go too far, girls. We don't know how far the humans went. Loffen warns, still cautious. They nod, and mostly walk about the remains of their village. I could sense their sorrow, every now and then they would cry, perhaps they still have not come to terms with the destruction. Brizlock, the little girl asks Tree Spirit, are you okay? You are all black. She's playing with Lozanne, and Wallen with some sticks and stones. I am recovering, Brizlock. Rain will wash off these black stains. Why are the humans so evil? They killed us. Brizlock looks at me and asks. Why did they do this to us? A question about the nature of man. If I could answer this, maybe I could win a Nobel Peace Prize or something. I don't know, Brizlock. But you must be stronger. All of us must be stronger. Loffen, Emil and Belle spends their time sorting through the rubble, and at the end of the day, everything usable is now in the hideout. It didn't take long for them to sleep, exhausted. As for me, once asleep, I look at each of my skills and abilities, and test out each and every one of them. Essence harvest. From the ashes, from the burnt wood, faint energies emerge and they join together into a ball. Obtained essence of lesser courage x1, essence of the sword, minor, x1, essence of the spear, minor, X1 Essence of Lesser Fire X2 Essence of Death X1. Oh. What does these do? Essences are a type of material used to permanently create and teach skills, enchant or imbue creatures and items, or combine them to create stronger essences. The next day, a small pack of demons appear. Without the walls and the fighters, and with the smell of death lingering in the air, certain demons naturally gravitate to such places. Just 4 demon hounds, a tiny pack really, but with only Loffen having any knowledge of combat, they decide to run into the hideout. Loffen had no confidence in taking them all on her own. Run. Loffen stands at the hideout's entrance, with her only weapon, a dagger. She grips in hard dot and /o/bell/b/in.c//ohm. I'd, Loffen. She nods, and but stands next to the entrance. Her survival instincts are kicking in. Root Strike X4. The roots surge out of the ground, spearing the lesser demons who are trying to find the hidden elves. With my extra levels, I can use Root Strike a total of 10 times. 3 of them die instantly. 1, still barely alive, maybe I missed a critical body part. The root still impales the hound though, and it growls, dying. Loffen emerges from the hideout, and she lands a killing blow. A stick to the head. The events from the day before drive her into a state of rage, and she bashes the hound's head repeatedly with the stick until it broke. Argach. Argach. She shouts. The hound is dead, but she kept smashing. Argach. Die. She shouts. Loffen sis. Calm down. Emil emerged from behind. She's frightened. Loffen pants, her breathing ragged. I'm sorry, Emil. I just need to vent my anger, my frustration and my sorrow at something. Emil nods. She too walks up to the dead hound, and kicks it. Damn you demons. Anger. Maybe this is how they are coping with grief. You gain a level. Level 64. Grief. We all have it. Yet if I am to protect these elves, and help these elves protect themselves, I need to get them to gain a lot of levels. In short, some assisted power leveling is required. Year 70 month 12. Rain in winter. With no food supply. Fruits. Loffen sighs. I think she is getting a little sick of fruits. The earliest she can start planting crops is in early spring. And it is freaking cold outside. Her winter wear is all destroyed in the fire and raid, so they can only step out in short bursts of time. At least it is warm here. Emil nods, thinking positively. The secret hideout is temperature controlled, and comes with a small tap on a corner which supplies water, which is drawn from the roots below. Brika is nothing more than a flat area now. The dust and soot is gone, and the constant rain had washed it all away. All of them, except baby Lausanne, have a familiar contract with me, and they attempt to hunt whatever animals that emerge during this time. But these girls, and one young boy, are inexperienced at hunting, and so the animals all manage to run away. So no meat. Only fruits for today, just like yesterday. In the meantime, I get them to make a spear, to test the essence I harvested earlier. I think it is ready, tree spirit. Loffen and Bell hold up a spear, a repaired one. A wood stick, a large metal tip. Essence of spear, minor. I use one of the essence, and a small ball of light emerge from the lamp fruit on the ceiling, and then lands on the spear. The spear shakes a little, and absorbs the ball of light. Loffen, how is it? Equipment inspect. Loffen apparently helps with maintaining the weapons the men use, so she has this skill which reveals more equipment-specific details than my general inspect. A tree spirit, I think it absorbed it partially. Compatibility stat is at 50%, but it grants A+2 to spear combat, so it is pretty good. That sounds like gibberish. It reminds of when one of the pure technical guys sit down next to me and start explaining about their database infrastructure. Try using it. Loffen shakes her head. I think Emil should use it instead. I have a thing with spears. Thing with spears. Emil nods. She means she accidentally hurt someone a long time ago and now she has a phobia when using spears. Oh. Emil, would you? Yes, tree spirit. Emil grabs the spear and swings it around, and she seems rather skilled with it, or at least her movements look really fluid. But then again, flashiness is not always a sign of skill. How is it? Wonderful. I need some time to build affinity with it, but once I do I should be good. What's affinity? That's a new term, I had to ask. Oh, it is the familiarity of a person with a weapon, So with low affinity, your reaction time, energy use, and overall ability is weakened. At full affinity you could use it like an extra limb. We get extra damage, speed and parry with high affinity weapons, so getting new stronger equipment does not mean it should be used immediately. Laufen explains. How do you know this? It still baffles me. It's combat basics. Everyone knows it when learning how to use a weapon. I think the only exception to this are the summoned heroes. The legends say Weapon King Valerian has 200% affinity with any weapon he touches instantly. Oh. What does that do? I don't really know, but I think the stories say the weapons are able to exceed their own limits, and in his hands, the weapons often do things normally not possible. Oh yeah, reincarnators have cheat-like abilities. I wonder whether I could get one for myself. Which of the summoned heroes were elves? Our last 11 champion is the Rona the Druid. Let me guess, she controls nature like a druid. Yes. She is like the most powerful druid ever. Her power over the forests and tree spirits is incredible. It is said that every tree spirit that meets her will instantly like her and will obey her. In the battle against the demons she transformed an entire forest into an army of super trees. I somehow feel a strange pain in my head. I also need to learn more about this world's powers and creatures. There clearly is a gap in my knowledge. Anyway, please practice with it. Emil nods, but her face seems a bit sullen. Okay. Laufen gives her a hug. It's just us now. I know you always thought you did not have to fight. The guys would protect us. The thought of having to defend herself kind of saddens her. Yeah, we all miss them. Yes, we do. But we must live on. Else their deaths is wasted on us. Emil nods, and both of the girls cry a little. We're 71 month 1. Now it is really cold. The elves frequently hide within the hideout, as cold winds now frequently sweep through the place. According to Laufen, Frika is located on one side of a mountain range, and so occasionally when the winds get strong enough to cross the range, it tends to get really cold. Previously, the village buildings create a kind of a bubble from the cold winds. A large bear appears. It looks curious at the disappeared village. Oh. There is a bear. I telepathically notify Laufen. She is playing with Lozen, and she shakes her head. It's too cold. We cannot catch it now. Oh. The bear walks really close, and it rubs its fur against my trunk. I could kill it now. But me killing it would not be the point. Root Strike X4. Using 4 root strikes out of my daily 10 is quite overkill, as a good well-placed hit through the chest would have killed it. But the point is to disable it, and get the elves to kill it. If they gain some levels they get to be more useful, and I can save up on the mana used to generate the fruits daily. The bear screams in pain, but the 4 strikes means all it could do is flail its head now. Emil, can you come out with the spear? She nods, and once she opens the latch that leads out of the hideout she yells. Oh my god, it's a brown bear. At that point I wonder whether it is possible to use essence harvest on a bear, so I did. Fragment of bear essence obtained. Collect 20 to form 1 bear essence. The whole RPG grinding mechanics. The bear struggles, immobile, and Emil stab it right through the head. Wow. Emil's hands shake. Perhaps a mix of adrenaline and fear. We have bear meat. Laufen and Belle comes out to assist her in cleaning up and processing the bear meat. More importantly they cut out the pelt and fur, which would help them in this winter. Did you gain any levels, Emil? Nope. But I did get a skill spear thrust. They do not seem to be gaining levels that easily. We're 71 month 2. The elves are happier, with the bear meat as another type of food in their diet. Spring is coming soon, and thankfully some of the crop seeds should be good for replanting. I take every opportunity during this time to let the elves land the killing blow on any stray demon or monster that pops up. Still, their leveling is slow. I wonder whether I am leeching off all the experience, and so I decide to change the manner of my training. Instead of injuring the monsters, I use Constrict, a new ability I gain after disabling so many beasts. I suppose there is some sentience in this system that tries to make things easier over time. But because Constrict required multiple routes to act, I can only use it twice a day. The first time I use it, Emil, Laufen and Belle end up spending a good half hour trying to kill the trapped lesser hellhound. It seems a full strength and health hellhound can take a bit of damage, especially from these unexperienced elves. But I could sense the hellhound weaken considerably once Emil used her spear thrust. After killing it, the 3 elves do in fact gain a level and skills. This is hard. Belle said, recognizing that between Loffen, Emil and herself, she seems to least adept at using a spear or sword, or a stick. Still, I had to do it. Our living is slow in this world. We're 71 month 2 week 4. Is there a village here? Must be a mistake. A human merchant group passes by. The map says there is an elven village. An old man turns his map around a few times, thinking that he read it wrong. Come have a look at it. Another guy goes over and looks at the map and nods. Yeah, this is the place. Eureka. There is just a tree in this place. It looks creepy. The merchant group, about 8 of them. They look defenseless. At this point I telepathically ask the elves. What happens if you attack innocents? Nothing much if you did it once or twice. Do it often you might get a criminal title, which makes it hard for anyone to go to town or cities where they have a detect criminal. Should I kill these human merchants? Loffen pauses. Oh. I could sense she is conflicted over her hate on that humans that killed her husband, but at the same time, these merchants have nothing to do with it. Never mind. She shakes her hand, but I could see her squeeze her staff a bit. Maybe she really wants to, but a moral, just part of her still is holding on. As for me, if these elves want, I would let them have the last kill. It's a really creepy tree. One of the merchants shake his head. We should not get near, I feel it's dangerous. So what do? We are supposed to rest a day at the village before we go on. We make camp here. It is a nice open space. Preferably some distance from that tree. The merchants at least have the sense of set up camp a little further up from where Frika is, and that night, one of the merchants actually walks up to me, and stands really close to me. Why does this tree feel different? He is one of the older ones, probably in his late 50s. He has some arms and looks like he can fight. Are you some kind of rare wood? He touches my trunk, but then pulls back instantly. He touches his hand, then he tries again. It's a normal tree. One of the effects of camouflage, so I appear as a regular tree. Else even animals with any sense of danger would not dare come close. I feel spirits. Danton. Get your ass back here and stop masturbating at the creepy-ass tree. Hey, fuck you, I ain't masturbating. The old man sighs, and then he unzips his pants. And he pees on my root. At that moment I am tempted to kill him. He walks away and back to the group. We're 71 month 3. You gain a level. Level 65. You obtained Learning Aura. Boosts XP gain by 20% for those lower level than you. All that guided power leveling led to a new skill. Still, Loffen is only level 27, Emil and Belle level 18. Wallen and Brizlock are level 6 because they are still too young to be fighting. Despite their levels, their skills are actually mostly unrelated to combat, and only their recent levels and skills led to more survival and combat abilities. Now that winter is over, they start to plant crops around me. It almost feels like things are getting into a new routine. We're 71 month 4. I see an elf. A familiar one, walking through the woods. Alone. It's Jura, and he looks like he's been through hell. One of his left arm is gone, and his body is covered in scars and cuts of all kind. He walks up to me. Tree spirit, you're still here. I tell Loffen to wait, even she wants to run out and hug him the moment they saw him. I just want to be sure this is not a trap. Yes. How are the rest? Did any get away? Jura kneels, his face looks really defeated and sad. I only managed to safely send 10 of them to the Elven Kingdom. Demons, monsters, and humans. There are too many. You have done what you could. Jura clutches his left arm, the one that is lost. I wish I could do more. Is everyone dead? No, Loffen says, she could not hold back so she ran out, and gives him a hug. Glad to see you, old friend. Loffen. You all are alive. Jura weeps, he is overjoyed to see survivors. Yes. We live, it's been really tough, but the tree spirit watches over us. Jura enters the secret hideout with the rest of them, and he gives everyone a hug. I cannot believe it. To think some of you still live. The rest died horribly. Jura shakes his head. Things have not been well for us either. Or anyone, even the humans. Loffen sits. The Demon King emerged during the depths of winter, and his swarm of demons crushed the king's army. A few human cities near to the West Rift has been destroyed, its people slaughtered. That made our escape difficult. Loffen shakes her head. Serves the humans right. So the demons and the death that followed made our travel to the Elven kingdom really challenging. With little belongings and no money, and plenty of other refugees, we were attacked, robbed. A few of us died to robbers and bandits who think we have money. Emil and Belle both nod. Oh. Jura munches on a healing fruit. So we had to fight other people and demons. About this time, a few riders emerge from the woods. I instantly let Jura and Loffen know, cutting short their conversation. Oh no, I was followed. 6 of them. They look like bandits. Their attire is messy and seem like they did not carry any armor. The tracks of the elf leads here. I like his sword. I want it. Find him. One of the older bandits gallop around on his horse. Where could he have gone? I thought there is a hidden village of elves we could raid. Should have strike him when we had the chance. They are at the edge of my range, but then I asked Jura to come out. Jura did, holding his sword. Taunt them. I whisper into his mind. Stand next to me. Hey you scums. You want a piece of me. The bandits laugh. So there you are. I wanted that sword. Give it to me, and I might let you live. Dream on. Come and get it you foul-smelling scoundrels. The bandits charge. All of them. Great, they are really comfortably within range now. Root strike x6. 6 roots shoot out of the ground, stabs each and every one of them. The leader though had some kind of magic armor, and the root merely knocks him off his horse. CKS. He coughs as he lands on the ground. The armor bent a little. Oh, you are some kind of druid, eh? Jura is visibly surprised as well, but then he smiles. Yes. Come and get me. Can you win? I ask telepathically. Maybe. With one hand I am not as good as before. The bandit leader slashes. Jura dodges and counterattacks. But the bandit dodges his attack. They trade a few more strikes, but they seem even. Jura coughs. Ugh, you are pretty good. If I still had my arm I would have won this easily. But you don't. The bandit smiles, and activates some kind of skill. His body radiates a kind of aura. Now you die. Jura struggles to fight back, and he gets a cut. HH. I decide to step in. With all my remaining root strike. My roots impale the bandit leader. His armor did not protect every part of him. 2 roots through the thighs, 1 through the gap between his armor and another punched through the dent made earlier. Oh, to think you still had a trump card. That was not me. Jura stands, and taps the trunk. And the bandit leader dies. Level up. Level 66. Root strike range extended. Jura. Loffen asks him to sit. You would have beaten Guy easily. Jura shakes his head. Not anymore. I have a curse. Tormented fighter. It weakens all my abilities and skills. A curse. Jura sighs. At first the effect is mild, but as time goes on I have nightmares every day, and now I cannot even wield my weapon properly. Emil then asks, Jura, can it be healed? Maybe. Curses can go away in time. Or if something breaks the curse. Indeed, Jura later demonstrates that curse affects how his skills are now cut short, and combos he easily pulled off in the past can no longer be performed. Tell me what you've seen out there. I ask Jura. Maybe fighting is not something we should be doing now. Year 71 month 4 week 3. Jura's daily routine is talking with me, playing and helping with the crops. I suspect the curse is something like mental pain, and wonder whether my calming voice can help resolve it. It seems the curse is so bad it actually interferes with his ability to use familiars. Still, an extra hand around to help do things, and he seems to really enjoy having the kids around. He is kind of like Losan's uncle and spends time playing with them. The first batch of crops are ready for harvesting even though they were just planted 2 weeks ago. I do in fact have a lot of levels, so perhaps they do have an effect on the crops. I am trying to train these girls in combat. What is the best way to do it? Well, actual combat experience is the best. Otherwise will be mock battles. Why are they gaining levels so slowly? I ask Jura, even though I asked the others before. I don't think they are slow. Based on what they have been doing, it seems they are gaining levels quite fast already. No way to speed it up. If there is a tutor or a master, you could, or if they somehow get hold of any of the artifacts of the heroes. Artifact of the heroes. Yeah. I once heard Cassierin talk about how the heroes' artifacts can cause explosive leveling and skills. Why? No idea. Year 71 month 5. Demons. A sudden surge in demons. I see them enter my field of view, in the thousands. At this point, Dura and the elves are hiding inside the hideout. That is their only chance. Thousands, they sweep through, killing everything in its path. They look like hounds, and thousands of them. So many of them. They approach, but their claws and teeth fail to damage my bark. And even as more demons sweep through, all I could do is just watch. A large demon, one wielding a fiery axe. It looks like a demon lord from Dota. It swings its axe at me, yet it bounces off. No damage. Annoyed, the demon lord hacks at me multiple times, but every time the axe just bounces off. Eventually, it gets tired and it too continues the march. The army, the swarm of thousands of hounds and other kinds of lesser demons continue passing through for a week. I only have a limited number of root strikes, so with no means of killing a massive army, I thought pretending I am harmless is the best way to protect the elves. The elves never felt so afraid in their entire life, yet are simultaneously amazed at how these lesser demons are unable to damage me. Hiding inside, whilst the demon marches overhead, is probably the most scary thing they ever had. Every moment they wonder whether a demon will burst through the door. The demons, a week. That's easily an army of 20,000. Jura calculates, for me I did not bother. It seems I am the only surviving tree as far as the eye can see. The humans won't make it. Lofen sighs. If Frika is still here, it won't either. Jura nods. Thankfully I only saw a few mid-tier demons. It seems to be a massive army of low-tier hounds, something an army of half the size can handle. Later that month, one bigger demon appears, taking the same path as the hounds earlier. A large, lizard-like creature. It resembles a gigantic Komodo dragon, but has red horns and eyes. That's a giant red-horn demon. Again all the elves are hiding, and I secretly thank my lucky stars that we have secret hideout. It sees me, and it stares. Then it opens its mouth, and breath fire. It feels kind of warm. But with 80% fire resistance, it can't kill me. It's monstrous. About the size of a 3-story building. Bigger than me and it tries to bite me. But its fangs could not get through the bark of my trunk. Then it uses its claws, again no damage. Infuriated, it slashes and swipes with its claws, and then mixed with a bit of bites. Still, the bark holds. I'm amazed at my bark, there must be some kind of anti-demon buff. Annoyed, I use 4 root strikes at it. It pierces its thick hide, and it roars in anger. Biting and swiping at my trunk repeatedly. But once again its attacks does nothing. Tree spirit, how do you withstand such fierce strikes? I don't know. I am starting to suspect my Demon King survivor have a thing to do with it. Maybe it grants me resistance to demon attacks. It's injured from my root strike, and it's angry. It breathes fire again. Nothing. And this time when it attempts to bite me, I send 2 root strikes to the mouth, probably what is its upper mouth. And it pierces through, a root strike up from the mouth and through the head. Kind of like how a stick goes through the brain. The giant red-horn demon starts to burn in a strange fire, and after the fire is done, all that is left is its fangs and horns. Hey, why does it do that? I ask Jura and Lofen, both ecstatic to survive. So it is Demon King summoning, not a natural demon spawn. A creature mostly made of the Demon King's mana, when slain it reverts into its mana form. I see. You gained 5 level. Level 71. You unlocked the following skills. Rooting Field. Local rootnet access. Poison Field. Woe-Chich. More offensive abilities, except that local rootnet access. CH8 Demon Boss Battle Eye, Assisted. Beer 71 Month 6. Attempting local rootnet access. Grassnet found. Connecting. Sun steps and sun nights and sun. What the fuck is this? Sun ad infinitum. Oh. After a while it reminds of a pinging. A constant pinging where the grassnet transmits what it currently feels. Damn. Disconnect from grassnet. You unlocked a new skill. Create rootnet node. The elves spend a lot of time hiding, as more demons pass through, this time from the other direction. Once the Demon King appears, the #1 activity worldwide is fighting demons. There is no peace until the Demon King is slain, because his very presence triggers demons to appear. For our little group, we would attack if the size of the party is small, and get the elves to help take a few down or land the killing blows. If it is too big we would hide, since the lesser demons cannot hurt me. I checked my skills, and it seems that I get various defense buffs from all the levels. We're 71 month 7. The huge army of demons traveling through from last 2 months are retreating. So I take the opportunity to test out my new skills Poison Field and Rooting Field, which effectively create a field with tiny roots that attempt to tangle and dislodge any passing monster, and then the same roots also has tiny thorns with poisons. The hounds generally pass through unharmed as their small size, flexible and nimble paws, and more importantly, they appear to have some poison immunity. The mid-tier demons, though, generally are larger and unable to avoid the tiny thorns, so quite a bit gets hit, and the poison causes a few to collapse onto the ground. The root field then slowly cuts at the collapsed demons, eventually killing it. All this happens over a period of a few hours. About a week after the demonic swarm retreats, an army of humans now appears, which I believe to be chasing after the swarm. A tree. An old warrior speaks. He rides on an armored horse. He rides up next to me, and look at my trunk. Even when thousands of demons pass through here, nature survives. 2 other warriors ride up to him. Yes, Lord Rajiv. Amazing that a tree can live, when so few trees survive the hound swarm. They look at the barren field around them. All the trees has been either burnt or destroyed by the demons, though signs of recovery is seen. We make camp here then. It is a good omen from the gods. Perhaps this tree is blessed. A superstitious bunch, but it reminds me of the founding mythos of many ancient cities. Yes, my lord. The Lord and his trusted lieutenants all camp within my striking range, and the remainder of the army beyond it. My root field and poison field expired a few days ago and still is on cooldown. What should we do? The elves are slightly panicking, because a large group of humans somehow trigger a bit of fear. We have enough food. Lofin insists, not wanting to face the humans. Lord Rajiv sits next to me with a drink. Oh tree, I suspect you must not be an ordinary tree to survive. Perhaps you are a tree spirit, like the guardian trees of the Elven capitals. Perceptive. Oh wait, if you truly are a tree spirit, proper introductions are necessary. I am Rajiv Nung II, of the Kingdom of Nung. I am a minor lord, I come in peace, and I am here to push back the demon army that has brought tremendous destruction to the world. Perhaps with some deeds the king would elevate my status. I guess I should reply. Hello. He jolts in shock, his drink almost spills. Ah. You are indeed a tree spirit. Well met. The demons, they pass through. Directly asking a question on military intel. Yes, a week ago. A week? We are still too slow after all. Why so? We are trying to catch up to them, but if they are still a week away, means we have not gained on them. How many of them, would you know? No idea. Maybe 10,000. 10,000. We can still take that. He takes out a map, and though I can't see the writings on it, I could still notice him pointing here and there. Things are all just a lot of outlines to me after all. Maybe I can learn a skill to see normally. The Demon King is very far away, but he has multiple champions that lead his campaigns against the world. It seems after the champions are slain their armies tend to scatter and weaken in coordination, so taking out the demon champions are a good way to reduce the threat of demons. The champions are then given multiple lieutenants, such as giant demon lords or just massive demon beasts. What if you meet the Demon King? Lord Rajiv laughs. Then we run. We run as fast as we can. Is fighting him that scary? Unless you happen to have the weapon of the gods, or are a summoned hero, there is no chance. Why fight a doomed battle? Good point. Well, Rajiv and the army departs a day later, marching towards the demons. We're 71 month 8. Lord Rajiv returns. He is injured, and so is his army. And a demon swarm is on his tail. Set up camp. Defensive structures. The army set up a makeshift trench and wall, by digging into the ground. They would have added spikes, but all the trees are gone, except the small trees growing nearer to me. Scouts. Where are the demons? Should be here in 3 days. The army spend most of their time setting up the trenches, hoping to trap the hounds so that they can stab them easily with spears. Those with higher levels and skills will be deployed against the mid-tier demons. In a way, a defensive battle against demons is advantageous. But, the trenches will overflow with bodies, and soon that defensive advantage will dwindle. I don't know whether we can survive this. Rajiv sighs, polishing his sword. The men must be ready to fight to their last. We beat them here, or the towns behind us will die. Fear not, Lord Rajiv. The reinforcement army is on their way. One of the lieutenants assure him. Rajiv and a few lieutenants stand underneath me, the only natural shade in the now empty plains. Once it is a forest, but the demons destroyed all of it. Rajiv, do you need a familiar? He looks at me. Oh yes. That would help. It would really help. I also grow a few healing fruits, which the humans happily consume. Meanwhile, the elves continue hiding. What should we do? Lofin asks, one hand carrying Lausanne. Jura sips a cup of water. With such a large human army, we should just hide. It's safer here if the size of the demon army is like what we've seen before. Yeah. Just feels like all we have been doing is hide. Lofin sighs. Should we fight for a change? No, I intervene. I will protect you. Seriously, just hide. 3 days later. A black line emerges in the horizon. Eons. A lot of them. They charge at the human army, like a tsunami approaching the shore. Ironbark-skinned Lord Rajiv shouts, enchanting his nearby lieutenants. His lieutenants then joins the line, barking their commands. Spears, ready. The defenders raise their spears, creating a spear wall. The swarm of hounds close in, and enter the firing range of archers. Archers unleash a volley of arrows at the swarm, and quite a few die. But not enough. Spears. Defensive line Lord Rajiv shouts, and the soldiers feels a surge in strength, a hardening in their skin. Some lieutenants and sergeants activate their skills, the swarm smashes right into the line of humans. Death. Some hounds skewered. The battle continues. Hounds, in the thousands. They bite, swipe and growl at the humans. The defenders switch to short swords, and cut the hounds that are close. Still, the momentum of the hounds' charge is intense. The first line breaks. The swarm is just too much, and now smacks into the line behind it. Tactical reorganization, morale boost Rajiv shouts, as the line around him breaks. The second line of humans step in, reinforcing the line that just broke. More fighting, more blood. More death. The hounds outnumber the army, so they seem to be winning, but it could go either way. The second line falls back to the third, another wall of spears. Rajiv waits for the moment to activate his skill. Timing is crucial. But help came, and the odds shift rapidly. A horn. And a stream of charging knights on horseback, 5,000 strong. They descend from behind the hounds, crushing them with their heavy lances. Rajiv looks like he has tears of joy when he hears the horn. Hold it together, men. Lord Rajiv lifts his sword overhead, it glows in a bright flash. The flash stuns the army of demons briefly, allowing the defenders to regain some ground. The charging knights lose their charge momentum, and a vanguard group is holding back the hounds. A pack retreats, but then turns back, with speed. Lord Rajiv lifts his sword again. Men. Advance and attack now. Another flash of light, and he stuns the hounds that glance at it. The demons, sensing defeat, start to flee. And the knights chase after the laggards, before reuniting with the main army. Glad to see you, Lord Rajiv. A heavily decorated rider rides up to him. Me too, Captain. You came just right on time. My pleasure. You seem to have them in your hands anyway. Perhaps, but I rather not gamble with my soldiers' lives. Your charge helped a lot. Let's burn the dead before they start transforming into zombies. The humans gather their dead into a mountain, and set fire to it. It seems that is one of the ways to prevent the demons or the undead from defiling the dead. As the fires burn, a huge creature appears on the horizon. A large demon, perhaps drawn by the sight of the smoke. The sight of it instantly sends the army into a panic. A demon champion. Lord Rajiv pales. The hounds appear beside it, but unlike before, they did not charge at the human army. They wait, perhaps for a signal. The demon champion is massive, the size of a large building. It looks like it is a giant earth golem, but reddish in color and has spikes and horns throughout its body. It is like a grotesque mix of a golem, a hedgehog and a demon. It steps closer, and the earth shakes. Every step, the earth shakes from its massive steps. Oh shit. I feel a shiver down my spine. Like a demon king. Okay, that understates the presence of a demon king. Maybe a lot less than a demon king. Maybe 1% of a demon king. The champion, a giant demonic earth golem, walks closer. Each step leaves a deep scar in the ground, like Godzilla's massive steps. It feels like I am face to face with a kaiju. It roars, and it sounds like an exploding volcano. Get the general force to retreat. All our top fighters and mages gather to me. This will be a battle of champions. Rajiv commands. Send a courier to inform HQ now. Tell HQ to gather heroes and champions if they do not hear from us in 2 days. The regular soldiers are more than happy to retreat far away. There is no shame as running from a giant monster that can crush you underfoot. Together, with me, I telepathically inform Rajiv. Together, I think we have a chance. I think that's instinct. Rajiv nods. Protect us, tree spirit. The captain dismounts, and his force of riders mostly retreats as well. Gathering around him is his highest leveled warriors, healers and mages. I offer him a familiar contract too. In fact, I offer everyone I can a familiar contract, maxing out my limit. The captain leans in. Tree spirit, do you have empower allies? No. The captain then takes out a scroll. Loan skill empower allies. You have been loaned empower allies for 24 hours. Oh. The golem approaches. The human fighters and lieutenants stack themselves with all the buffs and healing they have. The earth shakes. Little pebbles jump at every step. Jura climbs out of the hideout, deciding this battle is one he should take part in. The humans are surprised to see an elf appear from nowhere, but there is no time for that argument. The golem roars, it is within range, and it throws its fists at the humans. Whoosh. They dodge, but the punch has such force that it creates a small shockwave, catching some of the unprepared lieutenants. The captain activates quick step, allowing those too near to run away. The captain and the lieutenants attack, but it barely scratches it. Normal sword attacks or arrows do no damage against its large and horn-covered bodies. Slash. The humans attack its feet, and those with leap attempt a few slashes at its body. Punch. The golem punches the ground, the earth shakes and rocks fly everywhere. Slash. One brave lieutenant tries to climb up its back, but a rock arm appears and punches him off. Punch. The flying rocks is like a scatter shot. Some smaller rocks and stones still land a hit, and it hurts. About 15 hits in, the humans realize the folly of using regular weapons and attacks on the golem. Don't swing at it blindly, reserve your strength for magical attacks. Lord Rajiv yells, and he knows some of these lieutenants have never faced a high defense and regenerating golem. Maybe he should have said that earlier, but he panicked when it starts to punch. It tries to punch the fighters, yet its bulky size gives up its intent, so they manage to avoid its punches directly. They had to just account for the shockwave and the flying debris as well, which is harder to dodge. Holy Strike Lord Rajiv lands a cut, and with the holy damage it leaves a small tear. But only a small one. Energy Lance the captain lunges at the demon with a magically enhanced charge, and it leaves a small hole. The golem does not dodge very much, mainly because its thick rock hide is just incredibly tough and it regenerates. The golem swings its large arms, and 2 lieutenants are caught. Argh. They cough, probably blood. Empower, defense, iron bark, wood shield. I activate all the defensive abilities I have, and the golem's arm lands on some kind of barrier. The golem now is almost next to me, and so, it then punches at me. Ouch. I really felt that. A dent in my trunk. A punch. I feel myself groan and twist. And it punches at me again. I activate wood shield, and the wood shield shatters instantly. But no direct hit. The humans keep using their skills, and it scratches the golem. But nothing too deep. It manages to grab one of the lieutenants, and crushes him. Rggggggh. The captain charges with another magical attack. Again, like all the previous attacks, just a small dent. It's too tough. None of our attacks can break through it. I have a special holy charge skill, but I think it is not powerful enough to kill it. Rajiv pants, dodging a swipe of the demon's large arm. The demon stomps the ground and the earth shakes. Some of the fighters lose balance. It then throws a few loose boulders. It can do that. One of the fighters yell, frustrated that after dodging rubble, they now have to dodge boulders. I activate wood shield, and I manage to shield a few from the boulders, but 3 of the lieutenants still get a boulder right in their face, and the boulder crushed them instantly. Ugh. We are losing. The captain screams, assessing that the damage dealt to the golem is less than what it is dishing out. If it keeps picking them off, they would lose eventually. They can only harn it with skills, but the demon's regular punch could knock any of them out. A battle for attrition or endurance is a losing one. The humans need special skills. The golem stomps the ground, everything shakes, me included. It roars and a burst of flame emerge around it. A few lieutenants catch fire, but one of the mages then puts it away. The mages attack with some fireballs, but it seems to be resistant to fire. Rajiv stands next to me. Tree Spirit, do you have any strong attack? Well, I only have one attack, so I use Root Strike. It strikes at the demon, breaking maybe a rock or two from the golem's massive body. Though it chips a bit of rock out, it does not really hurt it. The golem retaliates, punches me right in the trunk again. My entire body shakes and another dent in my trunk. Ogachich. That really hurt. I felt like somebody just punched my gut and some. I feel a little drowsy and dizzy. Pain. Pain. I suddenly recall that feeling of being chopped by Demon King Ball. The golem has smaller appendages on its back that swipe at any attackers, and though Rajiv and the rest try to take the chance to attack, it mostly does nothing. Nov lb //jnn. The human fighters throws a few more magic attacks at the golem, but mostly just a scratch, or a small dent. I have a crazy idea. Rajiv looks at me. Everyone, cast all your support and boosts on the tree. Trust me. Rajiv shouts, he dodges and then runs next to me. Holy Power X, Blessed Strike V, Demon Slayer 3, Energy Burst V, Fatal Strike, Heaven's Punishment, Holy Blessing. Rajiv use a string of power-ups on me, and I feel a strange surge of power and magic in my roots. He chants and mumbles it out, while dodging the giant golem's attempt to interfere with it. The Tree Spirit's Root Strike on its own can damage the demon. With enough magic enchantments, it can deal a strong hit. He shouts, and continues channeling some kind of holy magic. Imbue holy power. I feel really lightheaded. The captain nods, makes sense. He dodges, and he too runs next to me. Energy boost, piercing strike, magic damage 3, attack boost 3. A few of the other human fighters run up to me as well, using their support boosts, power strike, dodgeless strike. All that enchantments makes me feel really quite engorged, like my roots are about to blow up. The earth shakes. The golem punches me again. Ugh. If I am human I would cough. Blood now. And another punch. I feel my barks bend and buckle. Pain. But here goes, I honestly feel like exploding, and am not sure whether it's from all the magic or the punches. That's it, Tree Spirit. Give it everything you got. Rajiv shouts. I let it all out, Root Strike X9. All my remaining Root Strike, all at the same time, and it appears like 9 flashes of light. 9 flashes that shoots into the sky, piercing through the demon golem. 9 magically overcharged Root Strikes. It tears 9 massive holes through the golem, and it stops. And then it crumbles. The massive golem shatters into multiple pieces and crumbles into rubble. All the rocks that form the golem fall like a puppet whose strings were cut. The golem falls. Rajiv shouts. Wodaichichichichich. The human army roars in joy. The hounds disappear from the horizon, perhaps taking cue from their defeated champion. Rajiv, the captain and the remaining lieutenants gather next to me, but I just could not respond. But I felt really dizzy. It's as if everything just went blank. And I fall into a kind of sleep. Level up. You gained 15 levels. Level 86. You unlocked the following skills. Dream Tutor. Wood Magic and Creation. Rise Filtration. The following skills have been upgraded. Secret Hideout. Root Strike Range and Quantity. Local Rootness Access. CH9 Waking and more Reincarnators. A Dream. A dream that contains visions of what looks like my home world. It begins, in a vast sea of stars, like the Milky Way and more. A galaxy and a nebula in the distance. From the vastness of space, it zooms in on a solar system, then a planet. Earth. Or is it? The dream does not linger, and it moves a bit too fast. The scene zooms in on a hospital or a clinic, a doctor, a nurse, a child and probably the child's family. The child smiles and nods. A few around him cry. And the child sleeps, and those around him give him a hug, crying. Then it zooms out again, back to the view from space. Stars. 13 streaks of light, all from the planet. They shoot up, and then the view speeds up like a warp, or a slipstream. A white layer emerges around all the streak of lights, and just as it exists the slipstream, a black barrier appears. It shatters, like glass. And a green planet is seen. 13 streaks of light, they fly towards a point, but one's brightness starts to flicker and move a little slower. And that one streak of light loses speed and starts to drift apart from the rest of the group. And it crashes into the planet. A little while later, the 12 streaks of light crash on the planet as well. 12 reincarnators have arrived. Year 71 month 10. 2 months. I've been asleep for 2 months. The elves? What happened to the elves? Oh. I still feel them here. The elves are alive, thankfully. I had a scare whether my fruits or secret hideout or nourish would be disabled when I woke up, but everything seems to be alright. Jura, Lofin, what happened? Oh. The elves jump, surprised. Tree spirit, you are awake. Ah. Yes, I've been sleeping for 2 months. Yes. All of us are really surprised that you did not respond earlier, and one of the captains mentioned it could be a kind of mana sickness. Then. Oh, the humans left after the battle 2 months ago. They want to talk to you, but they all left after waiting for a few days. After the demon champion is defeated, it's quiet around here for a moment. The demon hordes in this region are in disarray and their behavior is erratic. Other than that, nothing much. We mostly continue hiding here. Your fruits and nourish ability is still working, so we knew you are merely sleeping. So, we've been keeping ourselves busy since. We gained a few levels too. Jura did participate in the battle against the demon champion, so it makes sense for him to gain levels. Ah. How many levels did you gain, Jura? Oh, levels. I think I gained 4 levels, and a skill. Well, that's a big difference. Is it because I landed the finishing blow? Jura smiles and nods. Thank you. Most importantly, battling such a huge golem helped with my worries and boosts my confidence, and my tormented warrior has improved to tormented warrior. Mild. I think if this keeps up, I will lose the penalty soon enough. Lofin and the rest shake their head. No levels for them. All they did is just hide after all. If you didn't participate, you don't get levels. Sounds fair. In fact, this whole fuzzy logic behind leveling incentivizes hard work and participation. It's probably designed by a school teacher somewhere to reward kids. No. Lays off, don't take risks, and you get nothing. Year 71 month 10. A few days after I wake up. Ah, that reminds me, I have new skills. Kind of forgot about them in the days of waking up. It feels like a bad hangover really. Wood magic. A wheel pops up in my mind, at the center of it a leaf shape. There is a lot of grayed out skills and menus that grow out of that wheel. Ah, I unlocked the magic type, and I have under it 2 skills. Bind and Bloom. Rhizofiltration. This is a passive skill. Will extract minerals and other items via roots, and automatically filter out negative effects in the ground. Dream Tutor. May use dreams to learn, and to teach. Requires a collection of spirits, memories and objects to unlock more dreams. Essences can be used to bestow certain skills via dreams. Target must be sleeping for the ability to kick in. If sleep is interrupted, learning may not be effective. I immediately test it out on the elves, once they go to sleep at night. Year 71 month 11. The effects of Dream Tutor seems quite varied. It works very well in the case of Jura, as he gains a new attack skill. For Lofin and Emil, they seem to be feeling a little lost. The dream felt more disorienting and confusing than enlightening. But they seem to say they are learning something. For the youngest Lausanne, it seems to cause her nightmares, so I choose not to use it on her until she is much older. Perhaps dreams are just scary when you're 2 to 3 years old. Nothing much happened this month. It is really cold again, and the elves spend time mostly resting in the expanded hideout, which now has an additional room. Occasionally, they would pop out to kill whatever creature that comes too close. Our leveling. I should get a skill like that. Year 71 month 12. Marin has died. You received a fragment. You have 56 fragments. What? That is way too fast for one of the reincarnators to die. It is only slightly more than a month since they arrived. Are they in danger? Or maybe a conflict broke out. I ask Jura to gather more information, but he wants to be here with the rest of the elves. I don't think it's good for me to leave, Tree Spirit. It's better if we stay in this hideout. It's really the safest place with you around. Oh well, the nearest town is a human one, and maybe the elves won't be so well received anyway. Your root has harvested some materials. Raw Iron X5. Do you want to disable all similar notifications? Oh. Okay. Materials, like essences, are used for making stuff, and it's part of my wood creation, so the iron and essences get absorbed into the wood, and the wood then forms itself into the item I want to make. It's a slow process. Year 72 month 1 week 1. I create a wooden ring, with iron and essence of lesser fire, It's more like it's been growing within a branch, and once it's finished growing the outer layers peel off to reveal the inner product. A pop-up appears. Material compatibility is low. Effects are reduced by 50%. Lawfen, being the resident inspector, then advises on its effects. Honestly, it felt like I am at a MasterChef competition waiting for Lawfen's judgment. Boosts fire magic, minor, and attack stats increase. Not bad. Maybe I won't get disqualified this round. The rest of the time, it's a lot of resting and the occasional monsters. Woodcrafting upgraded. Oh, that's easy. Week 4. Demons. A group of hounds. I kill them, and let the elves kill a few. Obtained new skill, power leveling I. Finally. The elves, other than Jura, gain a level. Year 72 month 2. Quiet month. More demons, more killing. More levels for the elves. Other than that, the elves can't wait for spring. Winter is finally ending. Essence of winter, minor, X1 obtained. Essence of cold, minor, X1 obtained. Auto mode essence harvesting. My new discovery that most of my harvesting material type skills have an auto mode. I mean, I am a tree, and the cells of the tree extracts mineral without the need of my conscious interference. It's kinda like breathing. Year 72 month 3. Near me, a few small bushes and trees start to grow. The remains of the previously destroyed trees, now regenerating. The recovering bushes and trees start to add some texture and features back to the previously empty field. This is also the season when the elves start to plant their crops, so that they have a better variety of diets on top of my fruits and nourish. Surviving on fruits alone is possible, but not the most tasty way to do things. Demons, or more accurately the hounds, appear like locusts. Swarms of them, here and there. I kill those that I can, and ignore those clever enough not to come too close. I mean, it's not like I can chase them. Kinda like a Venus flytrap. Gotta wait for my stupid prey to come near. Maybe I can get a lure skill someday in the future. Level up. Level 87. Healing fruit upgraded. Healing vines upgraded. Obtained a new skill, solar healing. Oh. I feel like a bulb-shaped monster now. Year 72 month 4. A horseman passes through. He rests a while under the tree. He sleeps under the shade, right on my trunk. I drop a fruit on his head. Ouch. He grabs it, examines it for a while, and then eats it. Thanks, tree. He rides off after his nap. Skill, fruit attack obtained. O.N/O/bell/B//in.C//ohm. Year 72 month 5. More demons. Seriously, these things never end. How do these guys deal with so many demons? The demons appear on average twice a week. That's pretty okay. When demons are actually terrorizing us a few years ago, they appear daily. Oh wait, I keep forgetting my sense of time is different from the elves. Killing all the demons though gives me a new skill. Obtain skill, root surge. Obtain skill, lesser demon suppression aura. Year 72 month 6. Big harvest. The elves have crops, and some of the trees around me are growing larger. It's quite unnatural to see them grow so quickly, but apparently a common occurrence if there are tree spirits around. Apparently I've grown taller as well, and I am now about the height of a 4-story building. Excess mana harvested by tree spirits, who usually do not spend their mana, is dumped into the land around it, and that turbocharges all other plant growth. Also, thanks to wood creation, all the elves are now equipped with weapons and armor I made, which also gave that skill an upgrade. Year 72 month 7. One thing being a tree, I am mostly immobile. So in a way, I really spend a lot of time doing mostly nothing. It's really a waiting game, hoping for things to happen. Do trees always feel like this, just waiting? Or maybe a rock? So I usually try to use my plentiful idle time to help the leaves, by using my skills Dream Tutor, power leveling and wood creation. Right now, Jura is level 54, Lawfen level 31, Emil is 26, Bell is 25, Brizlock and Wallen level 11, and Lausanne is still unknown. Lausanne, the now 3+ baby, can talk quite well but still does not know how to access her menu. Maybe in a few more months she will tell me what level she is. TreeTree. Lausanne would walk around, her steps now quite stable, and crawl up and down the roots. Lawfen would then pet her daughter's head. Now, that's not how to refer to a tree spirit. TreeTree. Lausanne mumbles. TreeTree. I kinda like that name, I should call myself that. Ch10 Discovery and Adventurers. Year 72 Month 8. A small group of young adventurers appear, 6 of them, on horses. Heavily armed, their horses exhausted, they made camp next to me. It seems like being the only large tree in this vast field does seem to draw attention. I think that tree in the middle of the field looks nice. I think so too. Let's go have a look. These 6 adventurers, they stand next to me, examine my trunk and the leaves, and the trees that now flourish around me. At this distance, I make out that there are 4 girls and 2 boys. One of them look around, and she sits down on one of my protruding roots, then admires the view of the fields. It's a nice view, even though it's probably one made by the demons. Yeah, good place to take a nap. Our journey to the rifts is still a few days to go, and we best enjoy this peace and quiet while we can. True. So they then set up camps next to me, and rest that night. The next morning, a group of 15 demons appear in the distance, and I learn from Jura that these large winged creatures are known as manticores. They make their presence known with a loud roar, and that wakes the adventurers. Silly, these manticores. They should just keep their mouths shut and attack the adventurers while they sleep. The adventurers though seem unshaken, as if it's a normal occurrence for them. In fact, it seems the adventurers already set up some kind of magical defense, and a huge thunderbolt zaps the manticore that intrudes into the area marked. A long-haired girl shouts some kind of chant, and an orb of red lightning floats between her 2 palms. The red lightning leaps out of her 2 palms in a flash, and it zaps 3 of the flying manticores and fries them instantly. They fall onto the ground, charred. The leader of the adventurers, a guy wielding some kind of war staff, he raises it and creates a force field that blocks all the manticore's acidic spits. And after that another chant, which cause all the manticores to move sluggishly. The other guy of the adventurers then takes out some kind of contraption that resembles a very long rifle, and fires a high-speed orb. It explodes mid-air and blasts a few of the slow-moving manticores caught in the explosion into pieces. A short-haired one wearing a thin armor flicks something that looks like a fan, and a huge gust of wind appears. The force of the wind pushes all of the manticores, and they fall onto the ground in a smack. The 2 remaining girls both pull out a pair of short swords, and they slash the remaining grounded manticores to death. One of the twin sword girls smile. I gain a level. I get a skill. She jumps around, happy. Oh, what did you get? The other twin sword girl taps her on the shoulder. Flawless dodge. Oh cool. I didn't get any. The guy that casts the force field sigh, and he sits on one of my roots. He takes out some kind of cloth and starts to clean his war staff. Stop whining, you're level 75. I am just level 63. The twin sword girl shouts. Meanwhile, the mage girl is harvesting the remains of the manticore corpses alone with a small dagger and a bag. After going through a few of the manticores, she notices she's doing it alone and then glances over at the rest of her teammates, and asks, "You peeps not helping to collect them loot?" The rest of them unanimously shakes their head. "You do it. Well, just ruin it." The mage girl rolls her eyes. "Ugh. You know my ability works as long as I am around. Ain't taking that risk." They banter for a while, and rest. After cleaning up their camp, they soon set out towards the demonic rift. Year 72 Month 8, 2 days later. 5 demon knights, on hellhounds arrive. It seems they are following the scent of the adventurers. These demon knights are previously human, but their body has been corrupted by the demonic forces and then transformed. As they are once human, they still speak normally to each other, with the only difference is their voice. They were here. One of the riders pat his hellhound, tracking their scent. They are headed for the southern rift. Another rider examines the dirt, and some of the little remains from the battle. 6 of them, still on horses. Probably rested here for a day. /o/bell/b/jn.c//ohm. No sign of any injury. Looks like the manticores are unable to hurt them. We'll need more powerful monsters. The rest of the demon knights nod. 2 of the demon knights start chanting some kind of spell. It looks like some kind of communication spell. At this point, I wonder whether I can beat these demon knights. You think we can take them on, Jura? Jura shakes his head. They have abilities and skills like a normal human, so I am not sure of our chances. They could be very strong, or just like a normal human. I've never fought one, so I honestly can't say. Somehow, I decide to let them go. Year 72 Month 9. A huge explosion in the distance. Then another. And another. The earth shakes constantly, even though the explosion is so far away. The sky above is filled with streaks of colors. It's not a pleasant sign, one of fighting. Perhaps monsters. TreeTree, these explosions, they are starting to get nearer. More explosions dot the vibration and shaking gets stronger. In the distance, a huge rupture, as rocks shoot up. And Jura sees it. 2 large flying creatures, each breathing some kind of elemental attack at a small group. It's the 6 adventurers. The earth shakes so badly, my roots increases its grip on the earth, reducing the shaking. More explosions and spells crisscross the skies. The explosions and destruction sends huge plumes of dust into the air, and it creates a minor dust storm, blocking some of the sunlight. More explosions, and I could sense the adventurers fall back. The adventurer group retreats, while retaliating with ranged attacks. The 2 large demonic wyverns are also accompanied by a huge swarm of hellhounds and lesser demons, but they keep their distance. It seems the wyverns' elemental breaths deal a whole lot of collateral damage. Damn. An explosion right at one of the demonic wyverns' chest. And it falls onto the ground, and the earth shakes from the impact. Oh yes. The adventurers take the opportunity to run, and 3 of them are heavily injured. The remaining wyvern tried to chase, and a nicely placed fireball from the Madril managed to tear one of its wings. Unable to fly, it chases after the adventurers on its 2 large foot. Luckily, it's a lot slower this way. They run towards me, and at this time they notice a large group of demons appearing on the other direction. The demons have the adventurers surrounded with hellhounds. The tree. Let's fight there. The fangirl points at me, and they try to run as fast as they can. Well, any cover is better than no cover. As the adventurers reposition themselves around me, I can now sense that the gunner man and twinsword girls are injured. Their spirits is wavering, flickering, and one of the twinsword girls' spirits seems engulfed in some kind of demonic fire, or rot. I'm not sure. Around me, it's hordes of hounds, and lesser demons. Only the now lumbering demonic wyvern approaches, but this is after a moment of hesitation. The rest don't seem to be approaching. Ah. Great. One of the mage girls seem really surprised, and she scrambles over to help her injured compatriots. You guys deal with it. I need to look after them. The wyvern roars, and then it charges at me and the adventurers. It's already injured from all the ranged attacks, so the moment I feel like I can get a good shot. Root strike. It stabs it right in the abdomen. Some of its inner matter splurt out, but nothing too serious. Yet. It's not dead yet, but the stab slows it down. Root strike X2. I hit the abdomen of the wyvern again, and this time one of the roots managed to pierces through, and stabs the wyvern right through the chest. And it falls. The death of the wyvern scares the rest of the hounds and the lesser demons, and causes them to be afraid to approach. Oh wow. The force field man touches my trunk. A tree spirit. We're saved. The mage girl shakes her head, still trying to look at her friends. They are dying. Bring them to me, I mentally tell the mage girl, and she uses a kind of magic to levitate all 3 of the injured adventurers next to me, and a small branch reaches out, touching them. Solar healing. Healing fruit. Nourish. The wounds start to close a little, and I could sense their spirits start to stabilize. 2 of them recover quickly, their wounds and cuts heal, except the twin sword girl, who took a deep stab into her chest. She's the one who I seem to see some kind of demonic presence in her body, gnawing away at her. She yelps in pain. Don't die. The mage girl holds her hand. The twinsword girl smiles weakly. I keep trying to heal her, but that demonic energy is interfering with the healing. Or more like, it's just undoing whatever healing we apply. No, the mage girl holds her hand tightly. No, no, no. The demons keep trying to get close, but without the giant demon, the rest of them are just small fries, easily defeated by the force field dude and the other wind-wielding girl. I extend of my thinner feeler-like branches, touch the wounded girl on the head, and activate my healing abilities. The wounds recover a bit, but it lasts only for a short moment, before it somehow opens again. The demons. Damn them. They used some kind of special demonic rot attack, and the effects are still in her body. It will keep burning away at her body, despite our attempts to heal her. To really heal her, we need to remove that demonic rot, and in the meantime, all we can do is keep her alive. The mage girl curses, and then glances up at the tree. We need to coordinate our healing. We cast healing alternately, so that her body does not deteriorate too much. With the other twinsword girl and gunner healed, the remaining 4 adventurers unleash their fury, and slaughter the remaining demon swarm. The huge numbers of the hellhounds mean very little for this group of powerful adventurers, now fueled by anger and desperation. The demons' numbers fall quickly, as the 4 healed adventurers unleash wave after wave of attacks. The hellhounds start to flee. It seems they too are frightened of the adventurers. And about 2 hours later, there's not a single living demon in sight. They have all either fled or died. That then shifts the focus to the injured twinsword girl, still battling against the demonic rot inside her. It's not getting any better. Mage girl sighs. We've been trying to heal her. We have to take her somewhere, to the town. No, Madril shakes her head. I don't have enough mana to keep healing her. We won't make it back to the town in time. If I stop healing her, the demonic rot will kill her within 3 to 4 hours. We can maintain it now because the tree spirit's healing abilities gives me room to recover my mana. The fangirl holds the injured girl's hand. She's asleep at this point. I can use a mix of healing and regeneration abilities I have as a tree to keep the injured girl alive, but I am unable to remove the demonic presence gnawing away at her body. So it's a constant battle between the healing forces and the demonic rot. So here's the plan. The 3 of us will stay. And the 3 of you find the rest, and find a cure for demonic rot or anyone who has any inkling of what sort of cursed power that demon champion use. The 3 of us will be here because she needs healing, and working with the tree spirit, we can keep her alive. I will stay back for protection. The 3, 1 twin hair girl, the fan girl and the gunner guy nod. Best chance we have then. Let's go. No time to waste. At that point, it occurs to me that they never asked whether I agree to the plan, but fine. Since these adventurers will be here for some time, I ask Jura and Lofen to come out. Elves? We live here. Tree Spirit says we should meet you. Jura and Lofen introduce themselves. We heard your plan to stay with the Tree Spirit. We mean no harm. We need the Tree Spirit's help to keep my friend alive. The mage girl explains. I can't do this on my own. Jura and Lofen look around, and nod. Then please come in. Come in. The elves bring them into the secret hideout, and the injured girl is placed on the floor of one of the rooms. At that point, a pop-up appears. Do you want to initiate life support protocol? Oh. Okay. At that moment, the room shakes a little, and multiple branches appear around the injured girl, attaching itself to her. What's happening? The force field dude asks. He seems worried and reaches for his war staff. Explain. The matron stops him. The tree spirit is doing something. I think it's putting some kind of magical support mechanism. The branches all form into like a hospital bed-like shape, and a few little wooden feelers attach itself throughout her body. The feelers supply a mix of condensed healing fruit juice and whatever regeneration ability I have. It also gives a minor version of whatever passive healing ability I have. It's like the force field dude and the mage girl look at each other. A hospital bed. Thank you for help us. Jura and Lofen shrugs. It seems the tree spirit agreed to help you, so we'll be okay. We just hope you're not like the other humans. We promise we won't bring you any harm. We just want to save our friend's life, and I pray we won't take too much of your time or space. The force field guy nods, and sits down. Mage girl looks at her injured friend, and after a while, she too rests next to her injured friend. She's stable. The tree spirit is using some kind of constant healing, channeled through the branches connected to her. The matron observes, using some kind of spell. Lofen passes them some fruits to clear the tension. What's your name? I am Lofen. Endry. Forcefield dude then munches on the healing fruit. Alexis. Mage girl too takes a bite, and she then points at the injured girl. She's Mila. This place is a magical pocket dimension inside the tree spirit, right? Alexis asks. She's into the whole theoretical basis behind magic and finds it really fascinating on how magic works and interacts. Lofen scratches her head. Lofen had never thought about such things. It's bigger inside than the tree itself, yet not underground. It has to be. Alexis explains, and to be honest, that is the first time it occurred to me as well. Mila's asleep, as I use a mix of liquid healing fruit extract that I feed into her body via the branches, and occasionally solar healing via a leaf that is right above her head. Alive and asleep. With the healing powers between myself and Alexis, we could heal her completely, but the demonic rot would just reopen the wounds again. Whatever it is, this demonic rot is pretty nasty. Exhausted, both Alexis and Hendry soon fall asleep, but not before casting a wide range of precautionary spells. They are careful and prepared. You gain 2 levels, level 89. Nourish upgraded. Life support unlocked. Suspended animation unlocked. The next few days. They wait. Their 3 friends will take some time to come back to them with any kind of cure. Alexis would peep at Mila, who is still asleep, every few hours to check on her. Indra seems restless, paces about and takes long walks around, and seems to be talking to himself about demons and monsters. He would go on long walks, where he slaughters any lesser demon he comes across. Worried. Yes. Alexis munches on a bread that she pulls out nowhere. I don't want to lose her. We don't want to lose her. It would be unbearable to me. Lawfen nods and tries to reassure her. Your friends will be back with a cure. I hope so. What did you fight that caused such a bad wound? A demon champion. Some kind of earth snake that seems to be corrupted by huge amounts of demonic energy. It had a special weapon, a kind of venom. A demon champion. Lawfen gasps, her hands to her mouth. Yes. We killed it, but not before another hidden assassin demon retrieved that special venom and stabbed Mila with it. Wow. Must have been a big expedition into the rift. Alexis pauses. Ah, yes. Demons. On the horizon. Indra comes back into the hideout. A lot of them. Eons and a lot of mid-tier creatures. Maybe they will hide some powerful demons inside as well, so we should be careful. Ah. Demons can do that. Jura seems surprised that demons are capable of such sophisticated tactics. Oh, yes. Indra nods. Jura shrugs, and then looks at the 2 adventurers. I think we should hide. Normally they will ignore us. Our tree spirit has all sorts of defensive buffs, and the demons can't scratch him. TreeTree. Lausanne interjects, and Lawfen catches her. It's TreeTree. Yes. TreeTree has all sorts of defensive buffs. Very well. Indra retreats inside, and the demon swarm approaches. They fan out, covering most of the area, destroying the regrowing shrubbery. Some come close to me, but they mostly walk past me. A few attempt to attack my now thick and large trunk, but not a scratch. Indra seems surprised when the swarm eventually leaves. It's really neat, right? That's how we survive so long out here. Emile smiles, her words a little hint of bragging. The demons just pass by us like we are not there. And even when they do notice the tree, they can't hurt us. That is so strange. Indra sits, he rubs his chin, and then his head. Later on, Lawfen eventually tries to make some conversation. So how long you think it'll take? Or your friends to find a cure? Indra and Alexis shake their head. Alexis rubs her chin and explains. Not sure. None of us have any specific anti-demon abilities. We don't even know the specific magical nature, or the mechanics of the disease or demonic rot that Mila is having. We'll just have to try whatever they bring back. Ah. Lawfen felt like she just asked a question that led to a technical question way out of her depth. Mila screams in pain, and all of them rush over. Mila, are you okay? Indra and Alexis grab her arms, Alexis quickly using some kind of diagnostic spell. As it turns out, the constant heal destroy cycle actually results in a surge in pain, as the body regains the sense of the healed area, and then gets damaged again. And that sensation accumulates, abruptly jolting her into an intense pain every now and then. I don't have any kind of pain reduction spells. Alexis sighs. If only we had a pill or something. Indra shakes his head. Mila, you got to hang in there. Mila collapses, unconscious. The demonic rot is also weakening her spirit. I suspect that also contributes to her inability to remain conscious. Tree spirit, do you have any pain reduction spells? No. But I wonder I can produce saps or materials that can suppress the pain. I recall quite a few medical products that are derived from plants. Tree's natural abilities unlocked, tree extracts and saps. Oh. Wow. A menu pops up and shows me a huge list. Rubber, oils, poisons, fragrances, saps. Wait. Found it. Pick some leaves and make tea. I mentally tell Lawfen. A small branch with odd-colored leaves appear right next to the wall. Oh, okay, TreeTree. Lawfen runs to get hot water, quickly snap a few leaves off the branch, and quickly mashes it. The process of making the herbal tea takes about an hour, but eventually the fragrance of the tea starts to come out, and they feed Mila the tea. She yelps from the hot tea, but as the tea flows into her body, it releases a pain suppression effect. Alexis grabs the remainder and examines it, just to make sure it's nothing dangerous. Ah! Mila falls back into slumber. They make the tea for Mila every 6 to 7 hours, as the pain would pop up every now and then, and a few more days pass by. Year 72 month 10. Mila's still in a state of assisted living, her body still affected by the demonic rot. Tree saps and extracts upgraded. Thanks to constant use of the leaves for the pain-numbing tea, it levels up and it's more potent and longer lasting. Thanks to it, she could stay awake for about 30 minutes to an hour per day to talk, which helps Hendry and Alexis' mood greatly. Don't worry, I won't die. Mila smiles, looking around the room. This feels like a hospital. It's a familiar place. Alexis shakes her head. No, we'll get you fixed up again, okay? Hendry frequently spends his time climbing up my branches, and sometimes just sitting out in the sky. This is probably his way of coping with being trapped here, his friend wounded in this manner. Apparently the stars are beautiful, and there are more moons here. Later that month, we had demonic visitors again. The Demon Knights. Hendry grips his war staff. Riding on the Hellhounds, 8 of them. They wield a mix of weapons, 3 with swords, 2 with spears, 2 with bows and arrows, and 1 with a staff. Alexis holds him back. No, you can win, but we must hide. We do not want the entire demon swarm coming down on us. The Demon Knights are looking for us, you know it. Hide. Not fight. Not with Mila injured. Hendry sighs, but agrees. The Demon Knights ride up to me. Their scent fades here. Some went that way but not all of them. 2, maybe 3 is here. They look at me, and 3 of the Demon Knights raise their sword. Their sword flashes into a burning sword, and the 3 of them slash my trunk repeatedly. And it feels like an itch. Ah. The Demon Knights pause, as their slashes do not seem to work. Strange. To be honest, I've always found my defense against demons extremely strange too. But hey, not complaining. They slash a few more times, before the Demon Knight with a staff walks close and casts some kind of spell. Detect resistance. Oh. There's such a spell. The Demon Knight pauses. Oh. Oh no. The other Demon Knights turn and look. What? This tree. It has demon immunity, mid-tier and elder demon damage reduction, 84%. Shocked too. Ow. One of the Demon Knights ask, their attacks now stopped. They probably realize it's futile in face of that sort of resistances. It looks just like any other large tree. At this point, I realize I probably should not let these knights run, and a few root strike surges out of the ground, right through the Hellhound and into the Demon Knights. One managed to leap, but still the root crushes through his demonic armor. Turns out these Demon Knights are just pretty much humans in armor, so in an instant, all of them are dead, skewered by roots. They probably are tougher than regular humans by a bit, but against my root strike it's still just paper. After the battle, Hendry and Jura asks, TreeTree, how did you get your demonic damage reduction? Oh, I don't know. Is it an item you have? Alexis asks. Some items reduce damage from demons. Wards. At this point, I can only think of my fragments. I attempt to take out one fragment, but an error pops up. Fragments cannot be separated. It's fused to your body. Oh, but I can move where they all are. Alexis, Laughing, I'm going to show you something. Help me examine and inspect it. They both nod, and the roof shakes a little. And the wooden roof moves in a circular fashion, revealing a lantern-like object made of intricately shaped wood, with dozens of little lights floating inside. It pulses in a regular fashion, with tiny flashes within. Oh, it's beautiful. Inspect equipment. Laughing uses her only inspection ability, and then shakes her head. I can't see a thing. It's just filled with unknowns and question marks. Thorough examination. Alexis has a far superior identification spell, and after she uses it she loses her strength and sits on the floor. You okay? Hendry tries to hold her. I am. Alexis points at it. I'm just stunned. That thing is your heart, isn't it? Oh. I think so. It kinda does feel like it is my center. They are right now inside me, anyway. The tree's heart and spirit lantern, this is the heart of the tree, adorned with the fragments of 56 heroes. It gives the tree 2,800% increase in experience gain, 560% extra damage against mid-tier demons, 280% extra damage against elder demons, partial demon armor negation, immunity to lesser demons, damage reduction against elder demons, and significantly reduced damage from fire. So all the fragments do have a function after all. Indra pauses. Alexis, are you sure? She nods. We must tell the others. We must revisit how and where the battles with the demons is fought. This ability transforms this location into a favorable battlefield for us. We can save lives. Jura and Lofin sit. TreeTree, I didn't know you're so amazing. Alexis then looks at Mila, who's still asleep. TreeTree, can you please move your heart closer to Mila? It is right next to her now. A prompt appears. Do you want to absorb Mila Adams? I shake off the prompt, answering no. Alexis looks at Mila's condition. No effect. The rot is still there. It seems the resistance is not shared by the glow. Oh well. I keep my heart back, suddenly realize it's probably very dangerous for me to reveal it that way. Perhaps if it is destroyed, I would die. I think so. Now that I know the source of my past effectiveness is due to the fragments, that means against non-demon enemies, I'm actually significantly weaker, and someone of incredible power like Hendry or the humans could probably easily destroy me. You gain 3 levels. You are now level 92. Skills upgraded, Secret Hideout, Healing Chamber Adaptation. Obtain skill, Summon Insect Warriors. Obtain skill, Super Anti-Demon Root Strike. Obtain skill, Customizable Branches.